3.
And I'm Queen Saber Leader.
And today, we are going to do a very special commentary on Star Wars Episode 2, Attack of the Clones, our favorite.
Get your pitchforks, guys.
Oh yes, we're going to have so much fun with this film. Are you ready, my friend?
Yeah, so everyone, get everything up to timestamp 0. I'm on a computer this time, so don't worry, I got past the menus. I was stupid before.
And
Uh,
I am using my DVD.
and press play, right? And you can watch, you might need to watch this with us instead of as like a podcast, because we are not that good at describing the scenes.
Well, we'll try. We might be quoting some eventually.
Yeah, I mean,
By quoting, we mean making fun of.
yeah. Okay, so get to timestamp 0, press play, right? Well, actually, you want to talk about the film first?
Whoa, sure. This is my least favorite Star Wars film, actually. I find it very boring,
Mm-hmm.
and I just find it dull.
What about childhood stuff?
Childhood stuff, never liked it as a kid either. Barely watched it. I've always skipped to the very end. That's when the good stuff happens. And maybe the Obi-Wan stuff. That was cool. But apart from that, never really liked it.
Yeah, this is the film that I think I always skipped it, so like I always skip the annoying scenes, so I only watched like one or two. Actually, like I only watched the Camino stuff and Geonosius. So for me, this film was a lot better at first because I didn't watch those bad scenes. But now looking back on it, well, I mean I haven't watched this film in quite a while.
Give us your episode 1 commentary. You'll have a new lease on life on it.
Yeah, maybe because we recorded episode 1 and actually it's uploaded and everything, and I like the film a lot more. Let's see what my thoughts are on this movie. So timestamps.
Set my ways, folks. You're not going to sway me no matter what.
Let's see. Timestamp 0. Get ready. Right. Press play. Right. Now.
And it might be a second behind you, but usually always takes a few minutes to do that.
What's your timestamp?
03, 04, 05, 06.
Mine's at 10.
Dang, okay. 010, 11, 012.
Okay, good. I'm like half a second ahead, but that's okay. So yeah, the Lucasfilm logo is 20th Century Fox, which I miss so much. And this is the opening crawl that you kind of require for the entire movie because it's the only bit of information you get on whether or not the Separatists are good or bad.
And they say episode 7 has problems with its politics.
Well, at least here they attempted something.
But yeah, and the funny part, when we get to episode 3, we get to say that an actual line in the crawl is the title of Clone Wars.
Hmm? It is?
Heroes on both sides.
Hmm.
That's another story. So yeah, so here's our little bit of the Separatist music, movement under Count Dooku.
Who's not really mysterious at all.
He's not, he's totally the bad guy. I'm on the third paragraph now, going up. Nope.
Which I always wondered, was Padme voting for or against the Grand Army?
I'm going against it. There was a lead scene that pretty much gives her whole spiel about voting against the army.
Hmm. Yeah, I never liked that, especially in Clone Wars where she's like, let's stop making the clones because, you know, we're just making the war spread, and it's like, I don't know, just getting into the politics of that show.
She's an idealist, what can I say?
I know, it's just funny, though, to contrast it. It's like, this deep in the war, and then, you know, home production on clones could be argued as, would that mean stopping the clones who are already being cloned? Look, we're back to the Naboo, you know, guard things,
So,
which we just saw, like, yesterday.
oh yeah,
And the CG looks a lot better, and I like this ship a lot as well.
really, I always thought the effects in this episode actually looked worse.
Oh god, that Skyline looks bad.
See, I already said it. Worse. So already, episode 2 always had a very odd feel to me watching it as a kid. And I couldn't really pinpoint it at the time, and, even probably to this day I can't, 'cause I'm not very articulate. At least I don't think but anyway, I always felt that the feel, the tone, everything about episode 2 contrasted so much with episode 1.
Yeah, I mean, I like the tone of not the tone of episode 2. I don't think that episode 2 it's still the world of episode 1 in a lot of ways. It's just
I don't know.
the problem is we don't get to explore necessarily everything that was, and that's so clearly Natalie Portman. Like it's not even funny. Like in the pilot suit, like nobody should be surprised by this. That's Natalie Portman.
Oh yeah.
And bad explosion.
I've always agreed with people who say that episode 1, at least for me at least, it still had that sort of era of fun. And even if it was really bad, stupid sometimes, I still had fun.
And I mean, this film could have gotten away with being that, because again, I think this is still that world. It's just a very different tone. The problem is the way they should have played it was, you do this world, but then it just gets wrecked totally. Like it's this world but covered in darkness essentially, which episode 3 does a lot better.
Oh, definitely. I can watch episode 3 pretty easily. I just have trouble watching episode 2 because I just find it so dull.
Hmm.
Nothing happens.
Again, I mean, I like the fact that, and I never, again, this is why I liked episode 1 a lot more, is I realized how consistent the world of the prequels kind of was. Like, this is the same world throughout 3 films. It's just, I feel like there's a little bit disconnect in terms of character stuff. Also, Kit Fisto's first appearance. Yay! And Luminar Andolis. They might have appeared in novels before this, I don't know, and Barasafi. Characters who, well, I love that Barasafi, and it's like just waiting for her to go kill, blow up the Jedi Temple.
Which made no sense.
And she's gone in this shot.
No,
She just disappears.
Oh,
Peacekeepers, not soldiers, says the people who refer to themselves as knights.
and look, there's the red guard in the background.
And there's Barris. I guess Barris was a little bit to the left of Mace. But yeah, I find it funny that this Barasafi actress doesn't even get. She and Andoli's actresses don't get lines. In fact, a con near me actually had that both of them were going to it, or at least I think the person who played Barris, and I was just like, it was kind of funny to me just because why not, why bring this person who was in the background for Jar Jar, but and Bail Organa, but yeah, and that the Twi'lek. I always forget that he's in this movie as well, the Twi'lek, and here's Padme's hair from Clone Wars.
Maybe CGI Yoda. We forgot to mention CGI Yoda.
Which I experienced yesterday.
Oh yeah, I forgot. Blu-ray for some reason just CGI Yoda in. What was Amadeus?
Masamita.
Masamita. Oh, I like that. Masamita.
And yeah, here's Mace. He could assassinate no one's not his character. Which I love the fact that Mace Mace is just defending Dooku. Which is the Shadowport novel again. But I feel like I like the fact that this movie is, again, it is the prequel world. This does feel like a progression. The problem is this should have just been the beginning of, it's a good progression of this world. The problem is the story itself is poor.
Oh, yeah, I mean,
The way it shows the world well, but the problem is we don't spend enough time with the world itself. Because we go back to Tatooine for too long.
Well, then, the characters aren't that pleasant to be around sometimes. I mean, Yoda Mason's cool, but, you don't really do much with him. The Emperor's always a lot of fun to be with. But, you know what I'm saying.
Yeah. And Ancion, let's see. Yeah, that mission to Ancion that gets mentioned. I'm looking that up right now. It
Oh, and here comes our heroes, folks. We want Anakin.
explains how apparently they were actually dealing with, and Barasafi was with them. That was Approaching Storm, which is a novel. Who? Oh yeah, it's so weird to watch you. Well, with this beard, because his beard's almost gray, or not, really pale in the front, and especially in the shot. Like he does not look like he does later. Which Jar Jar.
Look at Jar Jar. Well, at least he's not in the movie that much in episode 2. Though he does.
Yeah.
We'll get to him later when he does something.
Oh yeah, that. Because again, like I like the fact. My problem is, why not just have this? Could have been the beginning of the trilogy. Let's get back to that thing that we were talking about in episode 1 that we couldn't really talk about enough.
Pointless film, technically, kind of story-wise at least.
For the trilogy, yeah.
I mean, if it were like an anthology film, but I think
It's like, yeah, you've grown into a person who does not look like he's 10 years older than the previous one, and looks more like he's like 25 years older.
He doesn't even look like the person who was playing him before.
I really wish they'd made Anakin like black here, and then in episode 3 made him Asian. I keep in Typho, who we were talking about, and Jamilia, who I believe you kill in Battlefront. Like they're just dropping a bunch of names that are important to us because again, the prequels EU did a really good job of building upon this stuff. Which it's so distracting to see Padme here with that hairstyle that she had in Clone Wars.
But
I love Obi-Wan's face here where Anakin's like, I'll kill this person, I'll kill him to death. You know, Obi-Wan's just like, I love just the fact that he's like, we're not going to go over this again, Anakin. You can't senselessly murder people, and you can't go into a situation wanting to murder people.
for you folks who don't know or don't watch this in order, which is fine, we actually get it.
He's so annoying. He's so whiny.
So again, folks, for you don't people who don't watch this in order, we actually just did a discussion about the 3 Anakin. Actually, we didn't not the 3 Anakin, but the many versions of this character. And we're watching one right now. We're watching the Psycho Anakin, Psycho whiny Anakin.
Well, yeah, so whiny Anakin who then becomes completely Psycho Anakin, and then becomes whiny Anakin again, and then becomes Psycho Anakin in the 2D show.
Except the 3 TV show.
Well, yeah, but then Jar Jar's looking at the camera.
He knows he annoys us.
No, he knows that he's the Sith Lord, which, oh god.
He's converting and he's manipulating Nick into the dark side. Anyway. So, I think I interrupted you. You were gonna continue on about the whole episode 2 should have been the start of the trilogy.
Oh yeah, episode 2...
Maybe you should...
I feel like the beginning of the separatist movement should have been the beginning of the trilogy, but I almost feel like in a lot of ways, you could have just put... you either could have begun with the war, or you could have had it be, like, maybe, like, you could have had it be, like, set a lot more on Coruscant and on, like, Republic planets, and just have it be the, like, this first 2 acts of this movie, you could have done as a, like, you could have done that sort of thing where you're focusing a lot more on how the, what do you call them, like, what the Separatists are doing, and then do episode 2, like, the beginning of the Clone Wars as the second movie, and then do episode 3, or you could possibly...
I would start the trilogy with the war, because it is called Star Wars, there should be...
Well, I think it's important to see the beginning of the war, though.
Like the early stages, like the day 1.
Well, no, because you kind of need to see where the war comes from, where it begins,
Maybe
and everything.
Maybe more like, what I would... if you want to go with that direction, then I would then... Well, first off, I wouldn't use this exact script for episode 2. I would
Yeah.
probably... First, I would cut off all the romance.
Just make it all about, Dooku building an army and Obi-Wan tracking down the clones and stuff like that.
How about you can even have Anakin focus on the Dooku part?
Yeah, I keep saying this. Have Anakin just be with Obi-Wan.
Right. They always have to split these guys up.
Which I wonder if the current comic is or the miniseries that I think just ended, is doing sets up the whole dream thing.
I don't know. I didn't keep up with that comic.
I missed the first 2 issues, and I think the third's already out.
I heard they're pretty good. Our friend Sid Bartu doesn't really care for them, but that's just not because they're bad. He just doesn't care for that kind of thing. That's not his taste.
How about Anakin just nonchalantly is like, I kind of feel like... Oh, I love that. She's a politician not to be trusted, or she's not to be trusted. I love that line. Where like you realize that Obi-Wan doesn't necessarily like Padme that much.
Yeah, it's true. Kind of sad. I mean, Padme's not... Well, if Padme was written well, I think she'd be an okay character.
Which I don't get why R2 doesn't just beep, 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 like as soon as this happens. Oh god, he's probably... Which, this is a scene that always annoyed me as a kid, just because I always wanted to know, how the hell did it open that window? Like, I get that, that technology could have been used so many times in the films, and in the comics and stuff like that. And R2 should right now be like, beep, beep, but no, he's just gonna be in for... But how wasn't he told there was a droid outside? Well, I guess there's a lot of, like, monitor droids.
Well, you know, R2-D2, he takes a while to boot back up. See what I did there? See what I did there?
Those things are so poorly CG'd.
I always found this kind of whole segment of the movie just creepy, and I didn't like it that much.
I actually really like this. Just the idea of, you get to see the Jedi protecting people and stuff, and then you get to see, you know, this time of political distress. The problem is it becomes too much. It becomes too much, the two of them, just like when he has to escort her to Tatooine, that's where it goes wrong. I think this, well, it's not well acted. I think it's fine in terms of...
It's action, you know, it's fast-paced action.
I love Obi-Wan's thing that he does here. He just jumps out the freaking window. That is such an Obi-Wan Kenobi thing to do. It's like, yeah, I love that. But yeah, again, like, I feel like this is cool. We get to see Coruscant. We get to see a time of political distrust and a time where the Jedi were having trouble protecting people, and you get the impression that, you know, like, this should have been our introduction to this, or not even talking about the introduction thing, just, I feel like we should have just seen what the Separatists were doing and how they were screwing everything up.
That was terrible CG. That almost looked like 3D CG. What I would have...
The Obi-Wan stuff looks decent.
What?
The Obi-Wan CG looks decent right here.
Yeah,
That alien looked bad. But, like, just, he doesn't look too blue screen.
yeah, oh yeah. We'll get there, though. Well...
Oh, look, there's a dog. And that other thing.
I think what you should have done is maybe...
Poodoo.
Maybe you start off on Coruscant, and you start with, like, a Senate meeting. It's like the pro-separatist senators versus the anti-separatist senators. Maybe, you know what, you should have just had Count Dooku speaking at the Senate. There, you introduce your villain right away.
Yeah, or maybe even just... Or, I think the assassination plot is perfectly fine. The problem is, though, you need to follow it up with more of a focus on that assassination plot. Like, once the assassination plot ends, start to just full-on focus on the, like, begin to just completely, you know, focus on what do you call it? Just the political distrust and on the Jedi having trouble dealing with stuff. The problem is, we spend too much with Anakin and Padme.
Yeah, listen, they're gonna do
I mean, the Camino, in my opinion, the Camino stuff and the beginnings of the Separatists and all the political distrust in this, you know, what in Episode 1 was kind of this perfect utopian society, except not really, but like, that stuff, I think the Obi-Wan subplot on Camino and everything is probably my favorite subplot in any Star Wars film.
Oh yeah, like, that should have been the movie.
It's amazing.
Then if you want to start with the war, before the war, if
Well, that would hurt, though. You wouldn't be able to do this sort of thing.
No, I would say...
Like, I feel like you have to show the world before the war begins.
I would show it, but on the teetering of crisis, though.
Yeah, like, well, this is kind of the teetering of crisis. The problem is we get an act of the teetering of the crisis, and then all of a sudden it just ends.
You don't see it affecting the people.
Yeah, like, I think we should have seen... I think Anakin and Obi-Wan should have been around each other, and instead of Anakin escorting Padme, maybe have, before they go to Camino, instead of, maybe, like, Dexter is on a different planet or something, and maybe they have to deal with some Separatists chasing after them or something. Like, just something like that. Just a little bit, and maybe have another Jedi be there who gets... Maybe have there be a few more Jedi or guards or something that get killed, just to show a little bit more of nobody can protect them, even the Jedi are failing.
You need
Because we hear that, but we don't get to see enough of
We
that.
get to see more of the people being affected.
Yeah, I mean the whole thing. Count Dooku's point is the Jedi are dying. They're dying in drones. They can't protect themselves. But the problem is where we don't get to see that enough. We kind of get to see it, but
I wouldn't say we kind of get to see
eh.
it. I'd argue we didn't really. We don't see any Jedi dying in this film.
Yeah, but we get to see at least that the Jedi are scared. The problem is we don't actually get to see it executed. Like, we know that they're afraid, we don't get to see what they're afraid of until the final act.
It's definitely the problem, is that we think of all the planets we go to. Coruscant, Naboo, Tatooine, Kamino. And none of these planets...
Geonosis.
And with the exception of maybe Geonosis, and actually a little bit of Coruscant, to a certain degree, but not much, we don't really see the crisis hitting. I mean, Naboo's pretty much always going to be paradise. But it's not, extended when it's not, and Kamino's so far out there that, it's not even part of anything. Tatooine's at...
What's great about Kamino, though, is it kind of shows how limited the Jedi knowledge is at points.
Yeah, but Tatooine, again, is that's so far out there, it's not really part of anything. And, well, Geonosis...
That's why it shouldn't have been... Again, that entire subplot should have just been erased.
Yeah, and Coruscant, while, it is part of the political crisis, you don't see much of the crisis on Coruscant because it's so in Republic's control.
I love Anakin. This is actually a good thing with Anakin. I hate it when he does. Like, you get the feeling that they have been around each other for a long time. Yeah, and like, they have a good dynamic. I think Hayden Christensen works really well with Ewan McGregor. Like, this speeder chase is actually a really, really good scene. And I've seen people say, like, oh, it's just this boring speeder chase that goes on too long. I don't feel that way. I feel like it actually is one of the better parts of the movie because it establishes pretty well, what these characters, are like and what their relationship to each other are. The problem is this should have been the movie. It should have been, even on Coruscant they aren't protected. Like, we should have had another Jedi here who gets killed or who gets living crap beaten out of them. Like, instead of just Dorme getting killed.
Would be interesting, and they kind of do this in Clone Wars, but a little bit, but I don't think you probably could have done it because of, the times. Although it's funny George didn't do this because it's George, he loves being political.
I always forget, Anakin had a blue lightsaber there, and then he gets a green one later. Which I always disliked. I preferred the idea that he had a green lightsaber for the entirety of his time.
I was saying that, why don't they have a Count Dooku suicide bomber, like a pro-separatist suicide bomber, attacking a Coruscant building? Show some Christ.
Or at the very least, somebody who's or at the very least a separatist person, like not just bounty hunters, like people who are loyal to him in some way. Or maybe even just have Zam and Jango be, or maybe have Zam be like, have Jango be a bounty hunter, but like have Zam be one of like his like one of Dooku's supporters. Like, have it be a hitman that he has, or not a hitman, but like an actual like assassin who works loyally with him.
Even better, do what DS9 did. Create like a Wayun character, like that slimy diplomat who like always talking about peace, but he's like secretly planning the war.
Yeah, but I feel like it should be somebody who's genuine for Dooku.
But they're a slimy person.
Well, I don't know. I think it would be kind of interesting to see, be like, kind of what you get with Quillen Voss, with like that scene where he goes to this place and we just see all these people cheering Dooku, Dooku. Like you don't get the impression here that he's this good kind, like this good person that these people like.
It's something that a friend of mine fellow YouTuber brought up, is that at least in the movies, they're portrayed more just like, at least the way I always saw the Separatists, like, when I was watching the film, I didn't think the Separatists were this big, like, followers movie. I thought just Count Dooku hired all the companies to follow him, all the big mega corporations to follow him. He just...
Yeah, which isn't necessarily what it was. And again, that's that's Captain Rex's favorite game, apparently. That's actually why he dared to dye his hair bleach color. Is because of his favorite team, which is a nice little bit of trivia. But yeah, like again, I feel like we just should have seen more distress. Maybe we should have had just maybe we should have opened on a small mission. Maybe we should have seen Obi-Wan and Anakin's mission.
Definitely, definitely.
Hey, look, an Ithorian. Hey, look, it's George Lucas's daughter and Jar Jar.
Oh, that.
He's the African American guy. Death sticks. I love this. You don't want to sell me death sticks. I don't want to say death sticks. You want to go home and rethink your life. I want to go home and rethink my life. I love that.
This is funny. But yeah, when I was a kid, I always just thought the separatists were just all the mega corporations banding together because they wanted to make more money. And
Which isn't exactly what it was. It was people who were screwed over by the Republic, which is what we should have seen. Hey, look, there's a one of I think that's one of the Wu, or whatever they're called, and a fifth.
There, Newt Gunray was screwed over by the Republic.
Anna Quarren. What?
Newt Gunray was screwed over by the Republic.
But that's what I'm saying. But we don't get to. But the problem is he was screwed over by the Republic because he's in episode 1. We don't actually see he just screws over the Republic kind of randomly because Palpatine tells him to.
So here's a question though that I have been wrapping my head around.
Oh, look, Anthony Daniel.
Oh, there's a lot of cameos here.
Oh yeah, there's a ton.
Right now. I haven't watched this film in a while. Here's something.
He's still in the background.
So here's a question I want to ask you. In the 3D Clone Wars, why is the Trade Federation allowed a seat in the Senate if they're part of the Separatists?
Was that the Trade Federation or was that the what do you call them?
The Neimoidians?
Yeah, I think that was just Neimoidians.
I thought they said the Trade Federation because the Bacon Clan does business with the Republic still.
Which this always was really creepy, and I actually kind of like that though. The reveal, and we got the reveal a little bit before that, but the fact that she's a changeling.
A changeling.
Good, cool. DS9, the MLP band, like that reference.
Yay, Jedi Temple.
Jedi Temple. Okay, I'm definitely a few seconds behind you. Sorry. Banned twice now, and I'm a few seconds.
Oh look, Shaak Ti's first appearance.
Yeah, he's a council member. Did she get promoted by this time?
Yep. Then there's Coleman Trebor, who is the character that I think everyone on the Council Force cast hates more than any other Star Wars character.
Trevor?
He's the guy with the tall blue head.
That's him. Oh yeah, I kept hearing about him.
The guy who gets killed, the Council Master who gets killed in 2 shots. Yeah.
Oh, that's why.
Which, yeah, again, like, I like this stuff. Like, I like the fact that the Jedi are kind of having trouble dealing with stuff, and they're kind of getting their asses handed to them by the Separatists. And of course we needed to just explain further what the Separatists are in the movie itself. I mean, we get it, and we can see that they're evil in the opening crawl, but we don't really get enough of that.
We don't really know what the Separatists are. I mean, from what I saw just of the movie when I was a kid, I just thought it was just all these mega corporations seceding from the Republic just so they can create an empire where they can make all the money they wanted.
And of course, like, I think we just needed a little bit, like, we needed to see his loyal followers who were genuinely loyal. Oh god, that's bad CG.
Look at Palpatine. It's so cool, like a bad paint.
Yeah, well, I think that might have actually been a matte painting or something. Because it looks so it looks so two-dimensional.
But it's always cool to see Palpatine doing his thing.
And yay, the Jedi Temple, again, looks really weird in the background, but it's cool to see the Jedi Temple.
Definitely a few seconds behind you then. But I like, oh, you can Yoda's floating chair. I love Yoda's floating chair.
Yay, the floaty chair, which is really hard to access, but it's really fun in Lego games.
I love it. I would totally eat a float.
It makes so much sense as well. But like, I feel like we should have seen just don't worry yet, alright? We really should have seen more Jedi dealing with stuff, and we should have gotten a little bit more of a showcase of what the Republic was dealing with and how things had been getting worse. And I love the fact that they actually have to put the windows back, the window panes.
We should be seeing some, like, crumbling infrastructure. We should be seeing protesters. We should be seeing people go, we are the 99%. You know, stuff like that.
Yeah, but then again, at the same time, Wait, what do you mean by that's not what the Separatists are,
I
though?
know, I'm saying,
Because the Separatists are the oppressed and the rich. It's pretty much it's just anyone who the Republic has screwed over, which kind of shows what the problem with the Republic is, where it screws over both sides of the spectrum.
I'm just giving you a general overview of what I was talking about. We should see the chaos. We should see the political, we should see protesters and bombs and crises. Instead we see Coruscant and it looks perfectly fine. I mean, it is the...
I mean, you could actually, what we cool to see is Coruscant being fine, but they're being kind of this, everyone's getting irked and they're kind of like, you can tell they're a little bit more on edge, but everyone, like Coruscant looks beautiful, but they're a little on edge, and then we end up seeing, like maybe we get to a point where when they leave the planet, they go to a world that they don't think the Separatists are on, but then they realize just how shitty things are and just how many people hate the Republic, and like have a burning hate for the Republic.
Oh, yeah, we should see... Let's go to Count Dooku's homeworld, the capital of the Separatists. Raxus Prime, what's
Mhm.
it called? Yeah,
Mhm.
we should have gone to Raxus Prime. We should have actually, instead of Geonosis, let's go to the actual capital of the Separatists.
Or go to Geonosis and just see all the people of the Republic's again screwed over.
Yeah, because I never got the... Well, I never kind of got the whole feeling that the Geonosians were pro-Dooku because they were loyal. I just always got the feeling that they were getting paid for good money. And they like just killing people.
And again, they kind of give off that feel, and which that is, that's too simplistic. And it's great for the EU, but I mean, again, there's a deleted scene where we kind of set up that a little bit more, where we see that these people have been screwed over a lot more, and they're not oh god, that creepy smile. Right before the scene cuts, look at Hayden's smile. But yeah, like I just, like again, we should have seen, we should have had the banking clan or somebody talking about like making an offhanded or not, like maybe have somebody ask, like why
Why is he crying?
why are the Separatists doing this, or why are they separating, and have somebody be like, well, the Republic kind of like screwed over their, because the whole thing is the Separatists hate them because like the Republic screwed over their workforces and stuff like that. It's kind of like with the Mandalorians, where they helped them, they helped them in a crisis, and then the Republic didn't help them afterwards. They just kind of like, oh, thanks for helping us, and then just kind of leave instead of helping them repair. That kind of thing, where they made them, they bravely fought side by side with them, but then didn't, in the end of the day, actually help them out. Like afterwards, they didn't help them improve, fix that.
Here's something. You were saying how Obi-Wan...
After the Stark Hyperspace War, that kind of thing.
You were saying something about how Anakin and Obi-Wan shouldn't have separated. Well, here's an idea. If you're going to have Anakin and Padme be together, have Padme, like, do some secret diplomatic co-op stuff. Go to some dangerous worlds. But she does that. She does silly things like that. And look, Captain that guy says the exact same thing.
Tycho.
Tycho said the same thing about her. She's reckless. She's kind of the diplomat who would sneak out and go to the dangerous worlds. And just have Anakin...
And maybe she goes there to like show the people the light, and then realizes just how effed up the Republic is.
Yeah, exactly. And Anakin sees it too. Here's...
Oh god, there's a lot of Dougs here. And look, there's Hermione.
Really?
Yes, no, that's the name of the character. And then this droid, which I love that Jawa juice.
Oh, and Rex is down. Dex is down.
Dexter!
Yay.
A character who everyone makes fun of and hates, but I actually enjoy because it, again, adds pathos.
Ooh, it's a free. It's funny how it was weird seeing Dexter now because of after seeing General Krell.
Oh yeah. Like,
What's the reason?
he's so nice and he has a mustache, and then Krell, I will take orders from something better than lab! And it's like, you're so mean. saber dart. Why is it called a saber dart? It's not a saber. It's a dart, but it's not a saber. But yeah,
Weird fan fiction that says General Krell and Dexter are related.
no, we actually know that Dexter had brothers, though.
Yeah, one of them's General Krell. Imagine the two of them together as perfect union.
But yeah, he looks so out of place, but I do actually like the CG and the design and everything. Again, this world feels lived in. It feels cool, and it feels like there's pathos to it. Like I love the world of the prequels more than I do. Also, Rishi Maze,
It's funny that you say it's more lived in,
because you know Rishi, right? The Rishi Moon.
No, it's funny you say the world feels
That's from Rookies, because the whole thing there, the Rishi Maze is where you have to go through that to find Kamino, and the Rishi Moon is where that outpost is in Rookies. That's monitoring Kamino
It's funny you say the world feels more lived
for attack, which is actually a cool little bit of continuity there.
Oh yeah, it's funny you say the world feels more lived in, because everyone argues the opposite. They don't like it how it's all crisp and clean. They like it more rough and dirty.
Well, I feel like the idea here is supposed to be, though, that it's crisp and beautiful, because that's what this world is.
Well, it's definitely good canon explanation why. Oh,
I mean, because you do get to see rough and dirty worlds. I mean, Geonosis is like that, which almost shows you the Republic gets to live in this beautiful homeworld, while the Separatists, look at what their planets are. They're messed up, they're disgusting, they're, burnt up old, worlds.
rest in peace, library, lady Jedi.
Jake Costanuich, yes, I was correct with the news 2 weeks ago. This actress actually did pass away recently. Which I actually really liked this character, especially her deleted scene where she talks to Obi-Wan, which also that's George Lucas' son in the background.
Lucas did cameos all
Yep, his two of his children get a cameo here, and then his other daughter, his oldest daughter, gets a cameo when he gets a
the... I
cameo,
remember that cameo.
when she gets kidnapped in Clone Wars
Yeah, I remember that. Other than
with Senator Chuchi there.
R2 being the Barb droid.
I really feel bad for R2 right here. Which also, Anakin's clothes seem like way too tight fitting right there. Did you realize that?
Yeah.
Like, what is up with that? Which also, R2 just leaves. Like, he doesn't even sit there. He's just like, I'm gonna go off and do my own thing.
We don't want to watch the awkwardness.
Which also, really, Padme doesn't know. Oh, okay, she says that. That's weird. And it's like, yeah, the Jedi are kind of messed up. He's so creepy. But yeah. But the thing is, like, Anakin's bringing up good points, but the problem is, I do like how he brings, the thing is, he says it creepily, but he brings up a great point, which he says, compassion is unconditional love, but it's the center of the Jedi philosophy, but it's banished, so how are we, it's an oxymoron. Like, he's completely right. Also, I remember you in my dreams. Oh god, that is the most creepy, terrifying thing you could ever say to a girl. Holy shit, Anakin. And it just, Also, there's that other Council Master guy who gets killed. Oh no, that's the same guy. Oh, Aayla Secura's first appearance.
Really?
What? Oh, hold on, somebody's knocking my door. Yeah, the...
What a point these younglings is Kanan. Nah, it's a
yeah, one of these kids is Kanan. Who was it? Oh god, that's bad CG on the, on Ahsoka Jr.
That's not... That,
I know it's not Ahsoka, because Ahsoka was around that age. Then hold on like 5 seconds.
Yeah,
Why didn't you just slide under the door? Are you talking?
I like seeing Yoda with the younglings. It's kind of cute.
Yeah, I really like that. Of course, then the some of them are Nightmare Fuel, which also I really like the windows closing and sort of like again. I like the feel of the Jedi Council. I like the feel of what we see of the Jedi Order and the fact that this feels like a world that has pathos. That it I get that people say like, oh, it hasn't really been lived in because it doesn't look dirty enough. There's a difference between lived in and looks like it's been effed up. Like, this feels like everything here fits. Like, it feels like it actually means something to the world at large in this galaxy.
like how Yoda's the exact same size as a kid. Makes so much sense.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I did. I just realized he dimmed the windows without like closing them or anything. Hmm.
Very good. No, wait. They're like little screens.
Mm.
It's like your little slider door with card.
Mm-hmm. I was like, only a Jedi could have changed those files. It's like, well, in Clone Wars, Cad Bane breaks in like in one day.
That's true.
He breaks in way too easily. SF was right. Which we get to see a place other than Theed. And I really like this. Again, like it's just that I. No, this isn't Theed. And we actually get to see oh wait, maybe this is Theed. But I like the fact that we get to see a diversity in Naboo.
Naboo does. Oh, this is a cool Battlefront map.
Mm-hmm. And this is actually, I think, what the basis for this, and I think the Battlefront 1 is based on that map is based on the first two movies, but I really like the Episode 3 one where it's nighttime.
Oh yeah.
Because it is based on Episode 3, and that was a beautiful map. That was a weird transition. Like, transition to them, like, one flight of stairs up.
Well, the lead scene makes this scene even longer.
Mm-hmm.
Where they filmed this, or this still this bad movie screen?
It's just so weird. Like, we're doing all this political distrust, and then we cut to Anakin and Padme, just carrying their luggage.
Now he's sitting. There's too much tell.
Not if they feel it. I love the fact that Padme is like they're like, well, we need to bring them back, into the Republic. Like, we just need to tell them that we're nice. And it's like, your bureaucracy is the one that screwed them over in the first place. No shit, they're gonna stay away. Because it was the bureaucrats who are the reason they kept away. Because they got screwed over, and then the Republic was like it was the people like Padme who kind of screwed them over. The people who were like, oh well, we can't afford to spend on time on that war. Like, thank you for helping us, but we're not actually going to help you afterwards. So that's like you could do a lot of stuff with that, but they don't. Like, the fact they're doing politics isn't the problem. It's the fact that they just don't flush it out.
Like, I like the line where the Queen says, the day we stop believing democracy can work is the day we lose it. That's so true. It's kind of scary to think about.
Though at the same time, democracy is the thing that got them into this in the first place. But it's not necessarily democracy, it's bureaucracy. But the problem was that they caused in the first place was, again, like the people like the senators of Naboo and stuff like that kind of put traditionalism above that. Like they say they're for democracy, but at the same time they don't want anything to actually be better. It's kind of like that Ultron thing of, look, it's R4, but it's kind of like that Ultron thing of, you say you want to help the world, but you don't want it to change.
And here comes Camino.
Yeah, and this music, oh, da 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 da. But now, seeing, I love this ship so much. I might, my local comic book store actually has this still in box. I might buy it like tomorrow or something if I see it. Or the next time I go to the comic book store if they still have it.
Weirdly enough, this movie's actually moving pretty quickly so far. But the pace is up.
We are 41 minutes in, so we're third in.
Maybe overall. Maybe I counted it. Maybe I talked too soon. And here come the shifty Kaminoans.
Kaminoans. I thought that they kept doing all this stuff without actually knowing if they were certainly coming.
I don't know, maybe it's very persistent. And we just had this long war there. And here's funny, I like how in Clone Wars, that final arc, you find out these two were working with Tyrannus the whole time.
Mm-hmm. That was really cool. God, the Kaminoans look bad right here.
He does.
He looks fine. Yeah, he looks actually pretty cool. And I like the fact, though, that it is pretty otherworldly. But yeah, I mean, I like the fact that he actually is wet. Like, did they just pour buckets on him? Which actually, I always forget the blooper reel of Jango Fett in uh where with an umbrella,
Yeah, it was very cool. I remember that one.
which apparently Ewan and Tamara Morrison were so intense in their performances when they were like suspicious of each other that people on set actually thought they were like about to punch each other or something.
Wow.
Like people actually like took them aside. They're like, you guys okay? Like, did something? Like, did you guys fight? And they're like, what do you mean? We're just acting. And they're like, you sure? Because you guys seem like you genuinely were about to punch each other. It's like, no, we're like that's just how intense they are, which is awesome. I want Tamora Morrison back as Boba Fett because you don't have to take the mask off, and even if you do, as long as you just light it right, he doesn't look too old.
Yeah.
Actually, he's the right age for Boba if he's like right before Episode 4, so he should be Boba in Rogue One.
I don't think they'll take off the bucket, but I can definitely see them getting the voice. I mean, they brought him back for Battlefront. So,
Mm-hmm.
do you think we'll get Tamora Morrison to come back if he ever pops up in Rebels?
If they ask him to, he will.
I remember playing Bounty Hunter as a kid. That game was,
I've been playing that recently, actually. I downloaded it from the PSN.
oh, it was so much fun.
Mm-hmm.
Oh boy, here comes some bad dialogue right now. You're a few seconds ahead of me, so it probably already happened.
He hasn't said it yet. She's just talking about birds.
Yeah.
And I don't like the sand.
It's coarse.
It's coarse and rough and irritating. And it gets everywhere.
Too bad it doesn't work for Kylo Ren. Apparently Vader needs something.
Not like here. Here everything is soft. I love the fact that he's looking at a very specific place when he says soft and smooth.
Yeah.
It's like, huh? I mean, to be fair, it's Natalie Portman, so you can't really... That's the thing. You can't really blame him. Though, what the hell, dude? You're just, like, stroking her back. Like, jeez. Oh, God, that smile. Oh, God. I didn't realize just how creepy he was because I skipped these scenes. Like, ugh, he's so terrifying.
He's a hormonal teenager.
A what?
He's a hormonal teenager.
Yeah. I thought you said something different, and I'm like, this very scene is very contrary to that. But yeah, I love the fact that it's like, dude, what the hell? I almost feel like they shouldn't have done this romance. I think obviously they shouldn't have done this romance, but I almost feel like it would have been better if, like, there have been characters written since who I think would actually be better than Padme for being the twins' mother. Like, there's a character from the Ostrander Clone Wars comics that I feel like he wouldn't have killed off had Padme just not existed. Because there was a character who, like once you read it, it's some of the Jabim arc, then I'm like, okay, that character should have been the love interest for Anakin because it actually worked. Especially because he has to let that character die.
Okay, I have a
Which is really, like, it's really interesting that he has to let, like, all his friends die, and then he has to leave this planet and leave all the innocent people to die as well.
Padme, though, how would you execute the romance?
I would have it be that he wasn't, like, obsessive about her until, like, they didn't really start to romantically be into each other until, like, during the war, like, the wars would bring them together.
That's what I would have done. In fact, I wouldn't even have them got married. I just would have had it, like, maybe 9 months, no, maybe 10 months, no, like 11 months, that's too much. 11 months before the end of the war, Anakin's, like, so burnt out, and he's still close to Padme, and then finally this is the night where he loses it, and the two just go at it.
And I think it works better when they're married because it's kind of like he has a happy, he has his perfect life.
You can probably see Rex in the background somewhere.
Well, he was an ARC trooper, so he wouldn't be there. But, like, I kind of prefer the idea that he had his absolutely perfect, happy life where he's married and, they're awaiting kids. Like, I kind of prefer the idea that they were married and it was a long time before the war started. Or, well, not a long time before the war started, but a long time before Episode 3. Dun 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 dun. Which I always forget that this is actually outdoors.
Really, Clone Troopers are so.
Because the wind's blowing.
Not this scene.
God. Wait, is this where she mentions Clovis?
They,
Or is this a different person? No, no, she says Paulo. It would have worked better if Paulo was Clovis.
let me see.
We're probably gonna find out that Anakin tracked this guy down and killed him.
This Anakin would. Actually, all Anakin.
Like he went on to become an artist, Anakin just like destroys his art and then stabs him.
Could you imagine if maybe like
I would love it if his I'm not really sure about one of them. I would have loved it if he like went on. He's like actually talking about someone else, and he's just like going on and on about like these horrible politicians he's had to deal with. Because if you read the Adventures of Anakin and Obi-Wan and the Jedi Apprentice or not Jedi Jedi Quest novels, he does have to put up with some really crappy politicians, some really good ones. The good ones always die. That's the thing with Star Wars is the good ones always die, and then the bad ones either don't die or have really like prolonged deaths, like Padme.
pretty much. Anakin just pretty much told Padme, I like fascism. I mean, to be fair, if this wasn't so done creepily, this could have been a very interesting debate here. Especially if you're dealing, especially now and dealing with crisis of like, but we're not. We're talking about romance. Look at this. This is.
Yeah, I think it would have actually been really interesting to see, the idea of the person who, the idealistic senator who's all about, democracy and stuff like that, who says, like, well, anyone who even so much for a minute doubts, negotiation, like, is bad. And then contrast that to Anakin, who's somebody, she hasn't really fought a day in her life other than the invasion of Naboo, and then contrast that with the Jedi who's seen so much shit. Oh, Anakin's such an asshole right here.
Well, the thing, that line about someone wise, what works. That line would have worked if they'd be on a planet that's like in the middle of crisis, like they're in a slum.
Yeah, like we should have seen.
And it's run by.
We should have had it be a contrast of, she sees like she's all like, as long as you are peaceful, like as long as you negotiate, everything will work out fine, and then have us have already seen Anakin deal with like just evil, disgusting, horrible people that are on the Republic side. Like we've even seen this before in the EU, where Anakin has to protect. It's kind of like the thing with Diggle. Have you got to the point where Diggle's talking about how he had in Arrow, how Diggle talks about that warlord he had to protect.
No, not yet.
Oh, well, he had to like protect this warlord.
Yeah.
In like that, having to do these horrible things for the greater good, and feeling like he gets why he had to do it. He's okay with the. He accepts that he had to do it. He accepts it, but the fact that. But he feels like he can fix that. Like he gets why these horrible things have to happen, but he feels like maybe under the right people they can change them.
Right.
And also, I love the fact that you can subtly see the Jango armor already. Also, the fact that he teaches Boba how to speak pure, like classic Mandalorian is cool as well.
That's what they were speaking.
Yep.
I just thought it was made up language.
Karen Travis actually made full Mandalorian without ever coming up with a word for house or box, apparently.
Wow. That's.
I don't know why that's significant, but I've heard that before. It's hilarious. Yeah, I love the fact that the armor's in the background.
That is cool. I kind of like the Jango armor more than the Boba armor because I like blue.
Mm-hmm.
I like the silver and blue.
I don't get why Jango didn't shut the door when he walked out.
That's so weird.
But yeah, again, like how suspicious they are of each other. Like they look like they're about to come to blows right now. Like these are two really talented. And, I mean, Tamora Morrison is a very good actor,
Yeah, he's probably.
and he's been in other things, and he's a damn good actor. Like I want to just see a film all about like him and Obi-Wan just chasing after each other. Like this film should have been more maybe about the two of them fighting.
Here's something interesting. They hint at this at Rebels too.
But always a pleasure to meet a Jedi because he killed like what was it, like 15 Jedi and like 4 with his bare hands.
No, I was saying how in Rebels and in the old EU they state there were more Mandalorians on Camino training the clones.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just surprised they never showed that.
We get to see other bounty hunters training them in Clone Wars. The thing is, yeah, you have to remember, specifically the ARC troopers were trained by Mandos.
Right.
Like Jango Fett personally trained Rex.
Oh, really?
Yeah, in Alpha 19, and then after Jango died, future ARC troopers were trained specifically by other Mandalorians who survived. The thing you have to remember is that the Mandalorians kind of, in the Clone Wars era, were, oh god, the CG pair. The iconic CG pair. Oh god, his knife like goes right through it immediately. Also, who eats a pear with a fork? Who does that? Just ugh. You could have put it on a damn string.
It's kind of weird seeing pears.
And she eats it, and it like just goes into her mouth. Oh god, the here it is. Why, when having a conversation where you're turning the person down, would you wear that?
Yeah, I mean, you don't.
Like, holy shit, I'm uncomfortable right now. Like, why would you wear that? That's just so awkward.
If I were in front of a girl in the fireplace, you were wearing that, I don't know what I would. I have self-control, of course.
But the thing is, you'd think that she was intending something to happen.
Yeah, I mean, you don't wear that.
Like, it does not play like a logical people. And just...
You should be wearing a t-shirt if you want to not get in.
Like, I really want to watch Cap's commentary on this now, because I want to see Cap's reaction to this scene.
You ever watch Captain Logan's commentary?
No, he's probably like, oh god, I'm washing my eyes out with soap.
I've listened to all of them, their commentaries. They don't really have much to
Oh,
talk
God.
about with episode 2. They get bored pretty quickly.
Oh god, he's still talking. You're my friend. Oh god, this is horrible, tormenting. Yeah, again, the tormenting thing, it should have been like, he could have made a speech about how he's being tormented from the inside, about the fact that the Republic doesn't want him to help innocent people and stuff like that, and, because again, like, there's that thing that, Charles Soule is playing with right now in the Anakin Obi-Wan book of, you know, Anakin dealing with the fact that the Republic, doesn't want to, there's like this civil war going on, the Republic doesn't want to help, because, the Jedi aren't supposed to help because, you know, they need to be, like, peaceful and stuff like that. And Anakin's like, well, how do you achieve peace if you just let people rip themselves apart? Well, they're not as civilized. And he's like, well, show them to be better. And then that's the whole hypocrisy. But yeah, I love it. It's just like the room for talking about non-sexual matters. From a bunch of it's like, yeah, holy shit, this is...
I still think if Matt Landis had looked at the right... I always forget the name.
Matt Lauter?
Matt Lauter had voiced this, at least it would have been more tolerable to listen to.
Yeah. I mean, Anakin would have been a little bit more controlling, but
Yeah, but at least
he'd be likable.
and more emotion.
Yeah. Like, his feelings are just stupid, boring, romance crap, instead of wanting to help people and dealing with vengeance and stuff. And again, he kills people, but then we don't actually really get enough with it.
I feel like they did the romance too quickly. They should have been more just like very close friends, and then have the war.
Yeah, they should have actually seen each other in the past 10 years.
No, not even just that. Even if we don't see them in the past 10 years, have them be friends, and then as the war drags on, they're like there's something about like the stand that the two of them have.
No, I still prefer the idea of because again, the idea is supposed to be that Anakin has this perfect life, like the ultimate, just, you know, kind of almost American dream sort of thing. Like, you know, he has his wife, you know, they're about to have kids, they have a nice home, you know, it's on the, you know, beautiful Coruscant, like that, like he has a family, like he has like, after the war ends, he has the perfect life for himself already set up, and that's why he wants to get over the war. Like, that actually really works. But then, of course, Clone Wars kind of does a good job of showing he's more at home with his fellow troops than anything else.
Like a World War II soldier. First
Yeah.
on the battlefield and at home with the wife. Stupid.
That's a damn good transmitter. I mean, Tavera gets jammed, but it's jammed. It's not like it gets disabled or something.
I like this theme.
Mm-hmm.
I see more of this, please. Less of romance.
Yeah, like the Jedi not knowing what the hell is going on.
And again, like I said, if I like your idea and kind of my idea too of just like if you're gonna have a romance with Anakin and Padme, have it on a planet that's like being screwed over by the and the
Mm-hmm.
Separatists are trying to use that to rally some more followers. Then at least we see why the Republic's in danger. Like, I felt that all of the Naboo stuff should have been, and the Tatooine stuff too, should have been just a made-up planet of, like,
Yeah, I always thought Mace said that Sephiroth didn't exist. Okay, never mind. I always was confused by that in Clone Wars, where they just act as if they always knew he exists. Okay, so he was a real person. Who Obi-Wan was. Because Clone Wars fixes that, which also Clone Wars retconned Valorum to be alive, interestingly.
oh, well, to be fair, he could have gotten assassinated later.
Well, in the original EU, what
Yeah,
happened
that's
was,
what happened.
right after, yeah, he gets blown up on a moon.
Right, they took him out.
Palpatine blows up a freaking moon to mess with him. And he looked really terrifying right there.
Right.
Like, just, he looks so badly acted. Like, no, don't, no. It's like, really, dude?
Dream about your mama.
Like, that's a bad transition.
So,
Like, he's dreaming about his mother getting killed. Let's go to a happy image. It's like, no. And just, this feels so, this feels like a freaking commercial for, like, soap. Like, it doesn't feel like a freaking Star Wars movie.
by Darth Soap.
It's like Sifo Dyas' soap, just, it's, he's so great.
With Psycho Diaz, right?
Yes.
And doesn't Plagueis novel go into Psycho Diaz more?
A little bit. Well, no, because Dooku's not around at that point. He's still on the Jedi Order, I mean.
Oh, right.
But yeah, and Anakin, how do you know this didn't already happen? How do you know it's not in the future? And like, just he's so freaking whiny. And why did she let him do this? If she's telling him that the Jedi have responsibilities that they need to follow through with, then why is she like, oh, but if I feel like we shouldn't follow through with it, then it's okay.
Oh my gosh, I just realized what the Jedi are. They're like the UN.
Yeah, people within the UN are not allowed to get married.
And had cool superpowers.
Oh, the first appearance of Slave One.
Slave One. Was it always called Slave One? Or with...
Yeah.
Well, it might be retcon now to Rogue One. No,
No, it's still Slave One. Which this is a fire spray, because I know that from the Jedi, Last of the Jedi books. Which, yeah, I love this fight. Have you watched Evan Nova's, Jango versus, Boba?
I haven't. Never heard.
Oh, just sorry, I'm talking about, yeah, Jango, yeah, it's remember. It's really, oh no, sorry, Jango versus Pre Vizsla.
Oh,
It's really good, and, he talks in depth about how Jango, kept, Obi-Wan on his on his feet and stuff like that. Which I love Obi-Wan's jump kick, right there. Yeah, but this fight's really well done, and it's impractical. This part, like the fact that we get to see him go hand to hand with the Jedi.
I wish we could have. Do they go into any books about like what Boba?
Oh, and I love how we finally get to see in a film what the antenna does, the viewfinder.
Oh yeah. So do they ever go? Is there any Star Wars EU books that go into what Jango Fett was like as a dad with Boba Fett?
Yeah, a little bit in the Boba Fett book from that Scholastic did. Oh, I love that. Oh god. Oh, not good. But he just gets down. Which, yeah, again, like these spikes, like, I always wondered, like, how Jedi were able to just mow down all these enemies when somebody like Jango Fett conceivably, could very easily take these guys down. Since, I mean, you just fire pistols enough at a Jedi, you've won.
I used to fall down these little corridors in Battlefront. I love the Camino Battlefront map.
Oh yeah, that was so hard to do on the platforms. Those are some of my favorite battles I've been in have been on those platforms. But again, this planet just looks so cool, and Jango is so, like, again, this should have been the movie. the mysteriousness and stuff like that, just the subterfuge, the constant like lying, the heated kind of manipulation sort of things between these two characters like that. That should have just been what the movie was about.
I also remember Cameo in the Battlefront games too.
Mm-hmm.
No, not Battlefront, Lego games.
Oh yeah, the Lego games are great Camino level. Especially because the music is playing throughout that entire thing. Which, how's he get another jetpack by the end?
I don't know, maybe he keeps a spare.
But yes, the Slave One flying off and being up, which I wonder what people's reactions were when they first saw that Boba was in this movie.
I thought they didn't like the idea of giving Boba a backstory.
I know people didn't like that. Well, it was a new backstory, which again, another Naboo thing. Like, really, that's not going to attract attention. Which I think this might actually be the, hey, look, more bandas, but are really poorly CG.
I'm surprised nobody stole that ship.
Well, maybe they had a good lock on it. Is that R2? Oh, yeah, that is supposed to be R2 because he's behind them. Never mind. I was like, why is R2 randomly going after these two random people?
Look, there's a Watto.
Yay, Watto.
I like Watto.
Which, this is something that I actually like.
Watto?
Yeah, seeing Watto again.
Yeah.
Like, I actually like the Tatooine stuff. I like getting to see Owen. The one thing that I do wish the prequels had done was actually have Owen be Anakin's biological brother.
Oh.
I feel like it would have been better if he had to leave his brother behind, or maybe if Owen blames him for their mother's death a little bit more.
It would have at least given Luke a better reason to live with them. Because they're actually...
Well, it would have given a better reason for why Owen did what, because what he says is, because what Obi-Wan says is, you know, your uncle didn't agree with your father's ideals. And you kind of get here Owen being like, you know, not liking the Jedi kind of for some reason, being not liking Anakin that much for some reason. But he met Owen once.
Yeah, I mean... You know,
And that's my problem. Like, he doesn't have much of a reason to hate him too much. It should have been, they should have been actual brothers. And it should have been like, he blames Anakin for leaving. Like, Anakin's like, well, I could go, you know, help the galaxy. And he's like, well, you owe it, you should be with your family. And then, you know, he blames Anakin for that.
they should, you know what they should have done? They should have brought Owen in Star Wars, in Clone Wars, do an arc with him. I'm sure they...
Yeah, that would have been cool.
I don't know what they would have done. I can't think of anything. Whatever happened to Watto? I know in a non-canon comic, Darth Maul killed him.
And I do love, like, this, Lars. It's like, yeah! The whole, but the whole, like, Lars, like, I do actually like the fact that we get to see Owen and Beru and everyone, again, but again, I don't get what the thought process was, in George's mind of
We need to
having
connect it
Owen...
to the original trilogy, so let's just make up something.
Well, I don't get why in episode 1 he wasn't just there.
Oh. I don't know, maybe he just didn't think of it. Like, I would...
He probably thought of it, though, because they were pretty consistent with some of the other stuff with Anakin's backstory, kind of. I mean, just, I don't get what Obi-Wan says with the whole ideals thing. Which, why not fly above the asteroids?
Well, to bring it back to episode 1, Obi-Wan never saw Anakin as a pilot. Well, no, wait, well, he kind of... No, he didn't. Or at least not at first. Cause remember...
Well, he knows that Anakin destroyed the ship, though.
True, but the way Obi-Wan tells it, like he saw it personally.
Well, yeah, because in episode 2, and because he's known him for 10 years before this point, even. I mean, dude, we see him in episode 3 fighting alongside him.
Yeah, no. Obi-Wan said in that little scene, when I first met him, your father was already a great pilot, but I was amazed by how strongly the Force was with him.
I don't think that's exactly what he says.
He says that well, we'll get there in episode 4, and then I can tell you.
Well, I'll look up the... keep talking.
Always kind of cool scene with the Sonic,
Oh, yeah, and people always make fun of that, and I don't get what they're talking about, because the idea is supposed to be that you're hearing what's going on inside of the, like, blast. Because, like, the idea is that it's this shield that sucks in...
like loud noises.
I always loved it just because the sound is so cool.
I like playing it in Rogue Squadron 3. I always like, when I was playing Rogue Squadron 3, I would just fire all my unexpected TIE fighters, just get rid of them. Make life so much easier. I'm surprised they didn't put a worm in this asteroid.
That would have been awesome. It doesn't seem big enough.
Boba Fett. It's every day with Boba Fett is take your kid to Jango Fett is every day take your kid to work day.
Which we actually do know that he trained them a lot. Like Boba's rite of passage thing was he had to pull the tooth out of this giant dragon.
And Obi-Wan hates flying.
I do love that. Because I think he says that in episode 4.
Does he? I don't remember.
I forget. He says something about not liking flying that much. He just says he was the best star pilot in the galaxy at a cutting boya. I understand you become quite the good pilot yourself. And he was a good friend. That's all he says.
We'll find out when we get there.
Well, I'm looking at the script right now. From more civilized age.
No.
No, he just says betrayed and killed your father.
He says that in episode 6. I'm sorry. I got the wrong episode. He said that in episode 6 in Dagobah.
Keep talking. Because I really want to look this up.
Look at the episode 6 script, Dagobah scene. So yeah, folks, we're still in the asteroid field.
No, just talk and pretend like I'm not doing that.
We're in receipt. Oh, they think they got him. Now Boba Fett and Jango Fett are going to Geonosis. Obi-Wan's hiding on an asteroid. I don't know if you said behind them, by the way, folks. Oh, look, there's the Trade Federation round balls. The donut balls. Always thought it weird that they were able to land. I like General Grievous' little donut ball layer. You actually could go inside one of those in a Republic Commando. I love the Geonosis Republic Commando level. It's so awesome.
Oh, he says, your father was seduced by the dark side. He ceased to be Anakin Skywalker and became Vader. When that happened, the good man that your father was destroyed. So what I have told you was true from a certain point of view. A certain point of view. Angry. When I first knew him, your father was already a great pilot. He doesn't say when I first met him. He just says when I first knew him. Like as in like when he was Anakin. He was a great pilot, but I was amazed by how strong the Force was with him. I took it myself to train him. I took it upon myself to train him as a Jedi, which I actually like the addition of Qui-Gon telling him.
Yeah.
The idea that it wasn't just, oh, he comes across this kid, he's like, hey, you should work with me. Like the idea that it's he owes it to his master. But yeah, and also he knows the first time he meets Anakin, he knows he's a good pilot because he finds out that Anakin helped them win the pod race.
That's true. I don't know. It's like,
So the first time he shakes hands with him, they actually say, hey, this is the kid who helped us win.
it's true. Oh, I still feel Obi-Wan should have been there to watch.
Yeah, but at the same time, that film's very anti-Obi-Wan getting screen
That
time.
is true. That's sad. Oh, here comes this Skywalker.
Which, yay, I love how this is... What annoys me, though, is the ground, the area isn't open. Which we get in episode 3 again. Which, yay, this 3PO, because I love this 3PO, because as a kid I used to watch episode 2 constantly, but only like with 3PO because he was my favorite Star Wars character.
Really?
At the time, yeah. And that's before I knew who Wedge Antilles was. And that was before Poe Dameron existed. Bless my circuits. I love 3PO. He's so fun. Which, like, I like the fact that 3PO's in this movie. Okay, I guess they do have the ground thing, which, yeah, this is always the same set, and I like that. Because it's an actual hotel that you can go to. For like $200 you can go there. But yeah, I love the fact that it's like, look, it's Owen Lars and Peru, and they have blue milk. I love that he's like, oh, I guess, yeah, you might show up one day. Like,
Okay, here's something a problem.
like I wish that this could have been so avoided if he was like that, or maybe if he was his stepbrother, but this guy was around.
Yeah, I mean, here's my problem with it when you think about it retroactively. He takes Luke in, he's not even a blood relative. I mean...
Yeah, well, he
he's a good person.
still cares about the family line,
Yeah, I mean, he's a good
I guess. Which I just realized it's not blue milk.
Blue milk in there.
No, it's not. It's not blue.
I saw some blue stuff in there though.
It's not blue though. Look, it's
Yeah.
weird. It's red milk. It's blood. They're vampires.
But yeah, I don't know. I feel like if we got more with Owen as a young guy with Anakin more, then I felt that perhaps him taking Luke in would make a little more sense just beyond he wants to protect the family line, he's a good person. Give a little more connection, you know what I'm saying?
Mhm. Like yeah, I mean, I think they wrote themselves into a hole with the fact that they said uncle in episode 4, and I do like the fact that they're having an argument in this very spot. Uh, like again, this stuff I actually like. My only problem is Padme shouldn't have been here, and I think it would have worked again a little bit better if he knew them. Like if he actually already knew Owen, it would make it a little bit more. It would make a little bit more sense why Owen reaction to his death or whatever, to him falling to the dark side, was a little bit bigger, and why he's protective of Luke. Because I mean, to be fair, Owen was a character who was forgotten seconds, really, into
I know, but still.
into like the EU. Like really, nobody ever acknowledges Owen, and that's really sad because he seems like a character with depth, and I really like him in the Jason Aaron Star Wars comic that we got with Obi-Wan.
Good.
He's really proud. Like he has a lot of pride and stuff like that, and like he's really kind of, oh, I have to do everything right. So he's a lot like Uncle Ben.
Oh, that's Uncle Ben? Oh, Uncle
Yeah.
Ben. That Uncle Ben.
Like really, really. What did you mean? What do you think I meant by Uncle Ben?
Wait, why are you talking about Obi-Wan? Wait, no, that Uncle Ben. Oh, there's Darth Maul music.
Da 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 da. Why is it here when he's on a speeder? Dun, 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 dun. This music is too badass for this Sahin.
I love those two guys. I love them.
They get like 5 minutes of screen time, but I actually really do like them, and they again they're totally, which I like, but apparently people think that Jawa was Maz.
Again?
Yeah, people think that Maz was a Jawa this whole time.
I kind of want to see them do that, like retroactively put Maz in a bunch of scenes in the prequel,
like she was Zam, and she wasn't really dead, and she, like all this shit. Which Geonosis, yay!
Well, we're only halfway in the movie.
Yeah, I really like the architecture for Geonosis. Geonosis is a cool looking planet.
Quote Captain Logan in his episode 2 commentary a few minutes in, 1 hour and 16 minutes in, well, probably a little bit more minutes, we finally see our villain. That's always a problem when you see your villain an hour into your movie.
I like it. It works really well if you just played up the subterfuge more.
Well, I'm okay with, like...
If you played up the mysteriousness of the villain, it would be perfectly fine. Oh, and here's your favorite Star Wars character.
Oh yeah, I forgot. I don't know why I always liked Newt Gunray when I was growing up as a kid.
But yeah, what were you saying? Oh, what Tamar?
I mean...
What were you saying?
I forgot why I never understood why myself why I liked Newt Gunray as a kid. I always did.
No, but I mean about the villain thing.
I agree with you. I mean, I guess I do agree with you. It's not a problem if you hype him up. Like, if there's so much hype, like, Goop.
Or if you make us unsure.
Or that too, but the problem is, Count Dooku, like, he pops up once, and then you never hear about him again.
Yeah.
But, of course, it's like...
Maybe you were right, and they should have had him at the Senate.
Yeah, or of course, Christopher Lee, rest in peace.
Yeah, and what? Oh, look, there's one of the moons.
Yeah, there's
Sand Hill.
Wat Tambor, Sand Hill, Pablo Lesser.
That green or that blue woman. I think there's a Rodian around here. What the heck's that guy with the horns? Which this scene, we got more of these characters and some other things, like the separatist leaders. I actually really like. I like the separatist beginnings, and I mean the Essential Guide to Warfare. I mean the writer of that has outright said that he something from his outlet said that he did a lot of stuff that like he had the oh god that's bad CG. He had them very much like the rebellion because he wanted it to explain why people in the Empire weren't okay with the rebellion because they had lived through this kind of thing and they'd seen the evils that the separatists committed by during the war.
Have they ever made a new Essential Guide to Warfare, the canon version?
No, because there wouldn't be enough to talk about.
I'm sure they're gonna get that guy back though.
Oh yeah, he did the Jedi Path, which is canon, and the Sith Code path thing.
No, I thought they would.
Which yeah, we get to see Shmi again, and she gets.
I thought they would.
Are they? I only saw them recently, which she looks so different here.
It should be sad because I'm a big. I'm always for characters who have strong connections with their moms.
Because that never really is anywhere in most fiction.
Well, I'm yeah, strong connection with my mom too. It's like that one scene in Man of Steel I really like where Superman's punching Zod because he tried to hurt his mama.
Oh well, I mean Martha Kent's always like the greatest character. She's the best part of that movie. Like just like when she's like, well, look at I don't know. That's the one part of that movie that I actually like. And like when like the house gets destroyed and she's like, it's just pictures and stuff like that. Like I really like that. But yeah, back to Shmi.
Sad, it is kind of sad just from a conceptual standpoint, but because Anakin's, you don't care for him that much. And
Which why did she die right here?
that is a good question. Like, why did she die at all? I mean, she didn't look like she was on death's door right around.
Well, my question is just why right now? Like, I get her starving to death and stuff like that. I mean, maybe she like bites the dust because she gets to say goodbye or something. Which Cap doesn't like this because he's like, Anakin killed people. Oh my gosh, a character killed people. I'm fine with Anakin killing the Sand People, to be honest.
Really, most people I know aren't.
I like it because, well, I don't like it. I feel like I don't think it was handled well post that, but I actually really do like him breaking and just psychotically just like I like the idea of Anakin has an outburst. My problem is they don't deal with it enough. Like it should have been like I think the whole thing about like, oh, he killed even the children and stuff like that shouldn't have been there, or it should have been like we should have seen his rage even more. Like the idea of his mom just got murdered. Like of course he's gonna free. Qui-Gon, I always forget that Qui-Gon is in this. I didn't realize that. I always forget that. Because I heard Coolio talking about that, and I was like, wait, he was in the movie? I always forget that. Which I love. I love the fact that Mace is like on this comfy cushion.
I think the problem is that Anakin's too dark throughout the whole film.
Well, I mean, him killing this again. Like, what would you do in that situation if you were Anakin?
It is true. Well, I don't know. Maybe I wouldn't kill. I don't think I have it in me.
But if you had already been trained to kill people, though. Because the Jedi are, again, it's the hypocrisy of the Jedi. Don't kill, but we'll train you to do so.
Maybe what they should have done is just have Anakin kill some of them, but not, like, genocide the village. Like, he stops himself.
Yeah. I mean, I'm impartial on it because I like the idea of Anakin just being this feral beast. My problem is he should have, instead of him being like, I killed them all, like, he should have been like, we should have seen him immediately after killing them all and him just, like, break down sobbing. Like, not whiny, but, like, sobbing and, like, begging Obi-Wan to forgive him or something.
It's sort of like what he did with Mace Windu when he killed him, but kind of realized it, except not turned to the dark side.
Yeah, like, he should have, started, like, just screaming and being like, oh god, what have I done? Or, like, it should have been, like, one big, like, burst of Force energy that he kills them all with.
Maybe that would have worked better. He kind of couldn't control himself with the Force energy first.
Well, he does, but, like, it's only one act.
Yeah.
Like, it's one big, hateful, like, just explosion of Force energy that he does, and then, like, it's not, like, meticulous killing or something. Or, again, maybe if we had seen the scene, it would have been better.
I like your idea of Force first, because it doesn't seem like it's intentional.
Well, no, I think it should be intentional. You just have to make it like something that he immediately regrets. The problem is if he spends like 20 minutes cutting them up individually, then it can't. It's not really a heated thing because after 20 minutes you'd probably start to get bored.
Right.
Which I keep thinking of the joke from Robot Chicken, the little orphan Annie.
Oh yeah.
I love that the moment's passed, man. Her body is in. Oh, and then like when they're about to burn them, and oh, it's like we have a message from Lord Vader before we kill you. He says, he says, you may now laugh at the little orphan Annie joke, ha ha. And Owen's like I'm gonna like it was funny then and it's funny now, ha ha ha. And I just love that. Oh god. Again, oh there is blue milk. Yay. But like again, the fact that he, you know, sadistically kills them is not like it's terrifying and horrible. But the thing is, I feel like it's okay to have your character do a horrible act. The problem is you just have to spend more time talking about it. Like instead he's complaining. Like he should have immediately been like, "Oh God, what did I do?" Like, or just been like just in this fit of rage afterwards or something. You can't play it like this, and they just completely forget about it. Like, I mean, I like what Clone Wars does. Like the one reference Clone Wars makes to it in the movie, where we kind of touch upon the idea of he doesn't think about it and how that's a problem. Where Ahsoka says like, well, why don't you're from Tatooine, like why don't you tell me about your past? And I love how he just says, I don't like Tatooine, or like I love how they make fun of the I don't like the sand line, where he's like, I don't like Tatooine. And then we cut to we hear like we hear overlapping. We hear the Tusken Raiders. Like that was really cool.
They actually do that a little bit in episode 3 too.
With his nightmare. Like he's actually having nightmares about it. The problem is you just have to address it more. Like I don't get the criticism of Anakin killed people in cold blood. Like he's an irredeemable or he's like a horrible character now. That could be a great character trait for that character, is him having to deal with it. The problem is he doesn't deal with it. He just says it right here. Like here, he seems almost happy about it, and then he starts kind of like, I don't know what his emotion is. They're like animals, and I slaughter them like animals. Like it should have been his line. I mean, when he says I hate them, like he's crying. But I don't know if he's crying because of his mom's death or if he's crying because he did that. Like he should have. I mean, here he starts crying, but I don't know why. Like he should. I feel like again Obi-Wan should have been here, or I think it actually would have been good if the final scene we get with him, instead of it being him and Anakin or him and Padme getting married, like we should have gotten that, and then we should have gotten one more scene, which is him and Obi-Wan talking and him saying, "I slaughtered a village of Tusken Raiders," and just have Obi-Wan help him with that and help him get over that, and but Obi-Wan doesn't know. Like that's the thing. Like. And again, like the Clone Wars Anakin, I feel like this doesn't work for, but then 2D Anakin it does, and I can't fault it too much for that. Which also, who are the other graves? It's like with Arrow, where there's another grave, and we're like, not like the current season, but on the island we got a grave, and we were like, who's the other grave? And I don't think we know yet, unless Ollie did an empty grave for a person who died elsewhere. But yeah. Again, what do you think on this? Again, like on Anakin killing them.
I don't know. I feel like
because it doesn't go in line with my Anakin, because I feel like his dark stuff. But again, it fits with this Anakin. I feel like, and I just always hesitate saying that a character is a horrible character because they did something in cold blood.
Problem is you don't really have enough to like about this Anakin before you start killing people.
Yeah, like you need to see, like, I'm okay with a character having their breaking point and snapping. Like I don't know, maybe it's just a problem that I have with people who are like, oh, this character killed somebody in cold blood, they're a completely horrible character. Like, you can't judge a character based on your own morality. Is the thing. Like, if you judge Frank Castle's character based on your own personal philosophical beliefs, then you kind of miss the point of that character, is the thing. Like, that's kind of how I feel here. The problem is they don't deal with it here. It's not a character's beliefs, it's just he nonchalantly kills them. And then we have one scene about it, and then we never touch upon it again.
Yeah, I feel like we don't know enough about the character, funny enough.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, Pat.
We've only had 3 movies, well, we've only had 4 movies with him already.
No, 2 movies so far.
No, 4.
Right.
Oh, look, Luminara, I think everyone's there. I wonder why Depa Bilaba wasn't on the council here. Because she's still alive. She doesn't even become comatose. And look, Bale again.
I like this scene.
Mm-hmm. Like, I love the fact that it's the Help Me Obi-Wan Kenobi in reverse, and with him actually being awesome and badass. Like, imagine if there was a droid there. Help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi. You're my only help. What's that rolling step? It's like, oh. Which, yeah, Mace being awesome and badass. Which, I love that he looks to the side, even though that's not where they are. Like, how do holograms work? Like, how does it know not to do the background? How does it know not to do other people in the room? Which, that's a way too tight-fitting shirt. It's like really Padme is like just not good in this movie, the costume department. Which I guess it's consistent with the it's consistent with the George Lucas thing if there's no underwear in space, which yeah, that's why you had Carrie Fisher with no bra, right, George? That's the reason. Like we get it. It's like yeah, first
People still right here, not just flying off to next mission. Like, okay, next mission.
look, he's smiling. And it's like yip. Oh god, he's gonna go yippee! Like when he kills the sand people. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe he was supposed to drop him off and he didn't realize he was in the ship. And like then they just landed. They're like, wait, you're still here? Which yay, here's a Gand. This guy's pretty, or Grand. Sorry. I think so. Unfortunately, the debate is not over.
So, how come they signal out the corporate alliance? How come they don't say the Trade Federation?
Because the corporate alliance is an alliance that the Trade Federation is part of.
Oh.
That's all those. That's the leaders of the Separatist Army. But yeah, I love the fact that here, like they're like, oh no, if we build an army, but what's really, or like we can't do that. But I really actually like what the Separatist plan is, which I heard on the SF Debris forums. I was debating with some people on that, and I see it more as Dooku's plan was to make a to make an army of well, yeah, to make an army of droids, and then because people are like, well, why would how would like I keep seeing people like talk about like, well, why would you make the clone army? Just how complicated all the Separatist stuff is. But you have to remember, he tried to assassinate Padme. Like I think a lot of people seem to forget that he tried to kill Padme in the beginning of this film. Well, he did as well. They wanted to stop the vote and stuff like that. But like what I'm saying is, like he wanted to get her out of the way, because then what they could do is then they could make their attack. I think a lot of people forget that they weren't supposed to come across the droid army. That was not the plan.
But how did the clones fit in?
He was supposed to find the clones. He wasn't supposed to trace Boba. He wasn't supposed to chase Jango back to Geonosis.
No. My question is, I thought they wanted the...
Oh, no, sorry, I'm wrong. He was supposed to chase Jango to Geonosis, and then the idea was that he would find the clones, or that he would bring the clones, which would mean that the Separatists had a reason for war.
So, sorry, it's just like, the problem with the...
Which, of course, the Separatists don't know about the clones, is the thing. Yeah, but what his plan is, just on the Separatist front, is get Obi-Wan to, or like, they were just, like people, I've seen people be like, what if the Separatists are not, if the most of the Separatists aren't necessarily evil, why were they building a droid army? Like, to attack the Republic. And the thing is, the way he pitched the droid army to them was that it would solely be a last defense. which it was because he manipulated the Jedi into attacking. He pitched it as that's the thing. It doesn't make the Separatists evil. They did it only as a last defense. He just tricked the Jedi into attacking them.
Here's something I like right here. Count Dooku pretty much telling you about Darth Sidious and stuff. I love how in the final arc of Clone Wars, Count Dooku had that line, "I told you all you need to know on Geonosis." I love that little callback.
Especially because he legitimately wanted their help.
He wanted Obi-Wan's help.
Well, yeah, he legitimately, of course, because he thinks Obi-Wan is reasonable, unlike the rest of the Jedi. But, like, I love the fact that if he had, like, he does not like Sidious. Like, if he has the chance to kill Sidious, he would take it. Because he doesn't believe in Sidious's path. He believes in, he feels like the Republic and the Jedi have failed, but he still wants to fix the Jedi Order. He wants to fix the Republic. Oh, and here's Jar Jar.
In the oldie, at least, that the longer Dooku with the Sith start getting into the whole Sith thing.
And so, like, here is the like, him asking Obi-Wan is, like, his last cry for help.
Jar Jar screwing up.
Which is actually really sad when you think about it, that he's asking, the essentially son of his Padawan, for help. Like, the Padawan of his Padawan. Like, he's asking him, hey, look, it's Samachblish. Like, he's asking him for help and saying, please get me out of this. Please help me defeat Palpatine. Because he doesn't want to see all this death happen. He doesn't agree. He wants to see the Republic get destroyed. He wants to build a better galaxy, but... Oh, I love this. I love democracy. I love the Republic.
I love this.
The power you give me, I will lay down when the crisis is... I love that bit. It's like, Rhodians.
What was I gonna say?
Oh, and
I remember
now I first doctor this new thought.
that said that the plan that Dooku's part of the plan was Palpatine told him that they would get Anakin to the dark side. He'd be number 3, Dooku would be number 2, and Palpatine would be number 1. And they blame everything on Grievous.
Huh, that actually makes sense.
Like, okay, this is what I heard. It's getting a little complicated. So after the Battle of Coruscant, they captured Dooku. Instead of killing him, but obviously the plan was to kill Palpatine. But Dooku thought the plan was just to capture him. Dooku would turn turncoat. He'd defect to the Republic. That he'd say, oh, I wasn't responsible for all this horribleness. It was Grievous the whole time. They blame Grievous. Anakin would turn to the dark side. Then the 3 of them would rule the galaxy together.
That makes sense.
Something I always wish they did more in the movie, but showed the whole Dooku's kind of playing both sides because he's a Sith apprentice too.
And yeah, and of course, again, because he doesn't like
They
Palpatine.
don't show that even in Clone Wars though. He seems to be a pretty loyal Sith.
Oh yeah, in Clone Wars he's pure evil, and that's one thing I always hate about Clone Wars is the villains. That show doesn't do villains very well, or at least the Separatists.
Well, they're just cheesy evil. That's not like
Yeah, but that's a problem because they never actually get even slight victories that often.
you got the magic.
But we'll talk about it later when we actually do stuff on Clone Wars. Why does R2 want to help them out?
Oh, I don't know,
Like-
R2?
It's kind of convenient story-wise. Which this is always fun with the Lego game. Just cutting up all these Geonosians.
Geonosians in this scene are creepy.
Not as creepy as they are in Clone Wars when they're snapping necks.
Or in the Republic Commando.
Oh yeah, especially when you cut them up and they're like their stomachs go all over the camera. It's like, ugh.
I always like imagining what R2-D2's saying with his beats. I always imagine he's swearing half the time.
Well, the original script he is swearing, and if you read the Star Wars book, you actually get it. He's kind of like a jerk.
Oh yeah. Lin Carr likes to voice him with a New York accent.
I love that. Yeah, just the Geonosians are really creepy.
The Geonosian Queen is the creepiest. Horrifying. I always did find it odd though how the Geonosian Queen works. Well, Poggle the Lesser seems to be the public face.
Well, yeah, because the Geonosian Queen is a mystery to everyone.
Except Poggle.
Well, yeah, because Poggle's a Geonosian. The Geonosians know about her. It's just that the people don't. Like the people of other planets. Which, there's so many ways you could have gotten out of this situation, Padme and Anakin.
In the older you, probably the lesser knows about Sidious and worked with Newt Gunray in the past. The Geonosians built the droid army that invaded Naboo.
Which, yeah, makes sense because the B-1 battle droids are actually visually based on Geonosians. Well, I mean, in universe they are. Because think about it, they look like the skeleton of a Geonosian.
You know, I never thought about that till you told me. Cool.
Especially in the Republic Commandos game.
You're right. Wow, I never thought of that. Just now.
Which, I don't like the fact that Anakin has a blue lightsaber this whole time. I was talking about that earlier. I kind of wish he had a green one, just as a parallel, because he gets a green one at the end of the movie, and then by episode 3 he gets a blue one again.
That is weird.
Like, I don't know why he doesn't just have a green one the entire movie, or in episode 3, because I actually kind of think the idea of he has a green lightsaber the whole time, or maybe during the Clone Wars he has a green lightsaber, would be a cool parallel between him and, oh god, that's bad CG, between him and, what do you call him? Yeah, Luke, with the fact that Luke has a green lightsaber at his peak. And then also, both were starting to fall to the dark side for a while, when they had the green lightsabers. So, like, maybe when episode 3 hits, we see him with that green lightsaber still. I think that should be a nice parallel. Especially because I always forget that Luke has that green lightsaber, and it looks so damn cool. Because we always get blue lightsabers, where we're doing blue lightsabers again in the films and everything, but I think it'd just be really cool.
I always like the blue lightsaber though, just more iconic. But I do want.
Yeah, but you don't get to see the green very often, is the thing, so I want to see more of it. Because, like, the way it looks, I mean, I always forget Luke's green lightsaber. That looks so cool in the movie, especially when fighting against Vader. It actually looks better in contrast to the red. And
I do like seeing this production facility. I just think it looks cool. You get to see where the armies come from.
Yep. Which is why why they have battle droids instead of people like say like, oh, they only did, which I love the fact that can just fit perfectly. But like I always hate when people say that they had battle droids just so that it would be more innocent when they die, and I never agreed with that.
Cheaper. That's why they have battle droids.
That and because the parallel between the two sides.
That too.
Because the idea of both sides are kind of using these why? How does that destroy the lightsaber? I never got that.
Something. I think it makes sense because these are corporate.
He gets hit by a rock.
I think that it makes sense.
How Obi-Wan?
I think it makes sense though because these are corporations, and what corporations like to do, they like to make much profit and spend less. And how do you spend less? You just get the cheapest battle droid possible. And the B1 battle droids are pretty cheap.
Well, yeah, I mean that's obviously the point in universe, which is why I again I don't get why people say like, oh, they did that just for kids and stuff like that. It's too kiddie. Because stormtroopers were just as wimpy and stuff like that, and were just as dehumanized. If anything, the droids are almost more human than the stormtroopers.
Except the episode 7 stormtroopers, I'd argue. They get a little more funny jokes, didn't they?
They get one funny joke, and then of course we get traitor.
There's a woman stormtrooper though who's not Phasma.
Oh yeah, I remember I caught that on my second viewing. There's several. Actually, the stormtroopers that back away, one of them's a woman. But also we get a line, I think a female stormtrooper when
Kylo's looking for Rey. Or Han.
I think there's one when Kylo. Yeah, that one. Because she says like, oh sir, he like went this way or something like that, and it's like, yeah, that's what that was. Which, thank God that broke. Which, yeah, okay, yeah, it broke the lightsaber in half, I guess, what happened. Which, the fact that he goes through lightsaber so fast kind of distorts the whole "this was your father's weapon" thing. Like, yeah, he had that weapon like twice. Oh, that's why they couldn't have him have a green lightsaber, is because he had to get that one, I guess. Which, yay, Jango shows up. Which, this is such a sad ending to the Lego game, where you, like, get through an entire mission, and then Jango shows up, and you're like, damn it. Oh, I love this, arena.
And there was the deleted scene also, too, with Count Dooku and Padme.
Oh yeah, the trial, which actually is really
Yeah,
cool.
and the meaning. There's a meaning too.
Well, then that's what I mean. It's the same thing.
Oh, wait a minute.
It's a
This scene coming up is in the Vader comic. When Vader's on Geonosis.
yep, and they made it actually good.
Yeah, he remembered.
I was just watching Unusual Suspects Spider-Man review, and he kept having the J. Jonah Jameson laugh, but like for this, like the interviews that laugh all the time, and so he's like she says that like stupid line, and then we cut to just Jameson. It's like yeah.
I kind of like it though in the Vader comic. Vader just.
Oh yeah, they play it really well there. Just because there's no stupid dialogue.
So I can't.
But yeah, I love that. Did you ever go to Geonosis? And it's like, well, he did. The old him. Which, that's how you should not, like, not... Him showing up on Ryloth and being like, Plo Koon, no! He's stupid.
That happy words is this.
Well, he's thinking about Plo Koon.
I do like the music though. The Anakin open.
Across the Stars. Yeah, holy shit, that's amazing.
More than the Han Solo Leia theme.
I much prefer it. In fact, if anything, I think it's one of the best scores in the prequels.
If only it had a better romance to go along with.
But yeah, the Geonosis look pretty fake. And so does the scene that they're in. But yeah, here comes one of my favorite, which I love Obi-Wan's face of just like, Anakin is just like, huh. I love that little smirk on Anakin's face where he's like, hi.
You see, things like
Like-
that work in Anakin's character, in the good Anakin characterization. That's something
Yeah,
that
he just,
do.
oh yeah, Clone Wars Anakin would totally be like, yeah, hi, Master, which, yeah, I love this. We had you requested, Master, and then we decided to go and rescue you. Good job. I just love how grumpy Obi-Wan is. Like, he's so good in this movie. Ewan McGregor really, like, Jurassic World Episode 3, he is perfect. But yeah, here he does a good job as well.
I always like Father the Lesser. I find I like his cane. I like the,
Yeah. Thought it was pretty cool.
it's funny how they brought in Newt Gunray for all three prequels. Like, that was a consistent character.
And his sidekick guy, which the Reek.
That's a different sidekick guy.
Did it? Oh yeah, 'cause the sidekick guy dies.
He died in episode 3, but he comes back. He comes back in episode 3. He dies. Rune Hako.
No, what's this sidekick guy? The Acklay. And I like it because it looks otherworldly. The next two is badly CG'd. Oh, I do love it in the Geonosian. That's great. Yay, I have a bad feeling about this estate. Which I love the fact that Padme is the one who takes charge.
Yeah, girl power.
Well, also just actual resourcefulness in a Star Wars movie, which is something you don't see very often. Because, I mean, think about it. How many times in a Star Wars movie when somebody gets kidnapped do they actually get themselves out of it without a planet contrivance?
Oh, dang.
And don't say Rey, because that is the greatest planet contrivance of all time. Because with Padme, you actually see... Oh, I love that. She seems to be on top of things. She's on top of it. I love that. And yeah, Obi-Wan's handling of the Acolyte is pretty great as well. Just the vengeance between these two. Like, they hate, the fact that they're fighting each other. Yeah, like you got I guess Anakin can kind of be paralleled with his Reek in a lot of ways. The next one, Padme, I guess like kind of waiting and then jumping like a panther thingy. Which, how did that hurt? That scratch does not look real at all. Like it's barely. Oh, I love Gunray. Like yeah. Which at the Acolyte, I like the way the Acolyte looks here. Just in these shots with the sun, so it doesn't look as close. Which, yeah, oh god, Power the Lesser looks fake. Well, I mean, the fact that he's next to somebody else, I think, is the problem. Which, I don't like the fact that she just takes it down like that. She can't do that. Shoot her so... I love Christopher Lee's face right there. Where it's just like, shut this guy up. It reminds me a lot of Cad Bane, where he's like, you're wasting all our ships, and Cad's just like, just shut up, dude. Like, just shut up. Like, it's just Cad Bane like shuts off the communications. Cause that's Cad Bane. I love SF Debris' review of that, where he's like, "Hey, cue my badass theme song," and then once he like turns on the anti-grav thing and like starts floating around and steals the holocron, SF Debris plays Smooth Criminal. It's like, yeah, which I love the fact that Anakin uses the beast control ability, which is a EU thing. I think it had already been around by this point. That's cool. I love the Acolyte just stepping on him. Like, like, this is actually a fun sequence. I like this. The CG looks fake right here. Oh god, that's fake. But it cuts quickly, so I think it works there. The camera's weird. But yeah, I love just how horrible the Geonosians are. Like, they're just cheering this on. Which the Acolyte looks really small right there, and then like it's like really tall in like other shots. Maybe it's just how it's standing. I don't know. Which I love Anakin just ripping that thing apart. Nope. You know, I'm really in a prequel era mood right now. Like I like right now. I just really want to like buy those Obi-Wan prequel books, or like the Jedi Quest. I love the Geonosians. Like the Geonosians are actually funny here, in my mind. They're like the Gungans done right.
I agree with that.
Like we get to see the natives be just sadistic, evil bastards. And Droidekas, yay! Like I really like again like this era. Like I really like Droidekas stuff like that. Like this does feel like a fleshed out era at least. Like we have consistent imagery and stuff like that. I think people are too harsh on that part at least. Which here comes the most badass moment ever, which is a major part of Shatterpoint, and I love it. Him questioning if he should have just cut off Dooku's head right here. Or sorry, he should have cut off Jango's head. It's a really just read that book. It's fascinating. In fact, if you go to Barnes & Noble, they probably have it. Mine had it, and it's with the Legends banner. The Ayla, Kit, like, this is one of my favorite scenes. Just everyone like, yeah, that guy who's actually... And then here's the Akin Kolar thing. Komator, but the Asian girl who's Butler Swan, who is Plo Koon's apprentice. She's really awesome in the EU. She gets killed by Vader, actually, in the Purge.
It's funny how we talked about you saying you're so in the prequel era movie because you said Empire's your favorite movie. Can't wait.
Well, I mean, oh god, yay, the Super Battle Droids for the first time. I mean, the prequels are my favorite era. It's just, well, I think my favorite era might actually be the Old Republic stuff, even though I haven't read too much of that stuff. Just because I think it's the perfect mix.
I would agree with that. I like the OT era more because I'm into whole like resistance and fighting tyrannical regimes.
What's great is you kind of get that in the Old Republic. It just has so much to it. I think I love this. Like I need maintenance. Which also those giant cannons are horrifying. But yeah, it's really sad when all these Jedi just keep getting their freaking asses whooped.
I remember playing it with cannons in Battlefront.
You can. Oh yeah, those are really cool. I love that the Geonosian just leaves. But yeah, Anakin with I don't know why Anakin looks really good with this lightsaber. I love that image of just the droids getting knocked down one at a time. But yeah, like I love seeing Akin Kolar again. And I should probably explain this. In episode 1, there was a Jedi who got fleshed out a lot in the EU and stuff like that, who was called Eth Koth. And he shows up in this. The thing is, this was filmed in Australia, and he wasn't able to show up, so they used archive footage from episode 1 for the council scenes. That's why he's only in one shot or one or two shots during the Jedi Council stuff. Is because you see him really briefly. Oh, and here's the Colin Trebah. Yes, a master practitioner of lightsaber combat gets taken out in 4 shots.
Everyone hates him. I always hear.
He's horrible. But yeah.
Did you ever play the Jedi Starfighter game, which is the sequel to Naboo Starfighter?
No, but I know that you get to play as Depa Billaba.
No, I thought it was Aayla Secura.
No, it's Depa. I just looked it up the other day, actually.
Well, there's a whole thing on Geonosis that really
which I love poor Django. But yeah, what I was saying was Eth Koth's actor wasn't able to show up for the Geonosian scenes, but they used him in archive footage for the Jedi Council stuff. But what happened is for this, they cast somebody to play him who had a darker complexion, and the makeup was like had a much darker complexion, and the makeup was very different. Uh, and the hair looked different and stuff like that. So Aegon Kolar, the darker-skinned guy than Eth Koth, who's supposed to be Zabrak, you know who I'm talking about?
No, I'm sorry.
He's in episode 3. He's the guy who Palpatine kills in episode 3. He's here as well. You can probably see him if you look closely. He's been in 2 shots already. The thing is, he was supposed to be Eth Koth when he was cast. However, which also, that girl just sadistically killed a droid, like, happily. Oh yeah, I love Kit. Yay! One of my favorite Sith, or one of my favorite Jedi. But yeah, but what I'm saying was, so this guy was actually Aegon Kolar's actor was actually cast to play Eth Koth, but they realized that he looked too different, so they got rid of when the film came out, they made his name in the credits to Aegon Kolar, and they decided just in episode 3 to get him back, and they stated in you know who Sora Bulk is, right? He's the Weequay who has 2 lightsabers, nose of a pad, trained with Quillen Voss. You probably would recognize him.
I recognize faces more.
He the thing is he like the whole thing with him is he gets blown up, like he almost gets killed on Geonosis. He was in this battle. We don't see him, but he was here, and his gunship gets shot down.
Didn't he come back in Clone Wars though?
He wasn't in the Clone Wars show. Well, that's Eth Koth. The thing is, Sora Bulk's gunship crashed, and in a source book, in a freaking source book, they said, Eth Koth died there. So a freaking, encyclopedia just randomly states that Eth Koth got killed there because he's not, that's their explanation as to why he's not in this movie. And that it's really poor and people didn't like it, so Dave Filoni's response was to bring him back in Clone Wars from the dead. Because they said, well, Sora Bulk, he said, if Sora Bulk survived, and you just saw Eth Koth in the background right there, he's right there, behind Obi-Wan. I don't know who half these guys are. What's funny is some of the Jedi, oh look, there's Butler Swan, or Butler Swan, whatever her name is. And there's okay, there are other Jedi, and I guess there were other people than them higher up on other levels. Because people like Suritashi were here. There's a lot more Jedi here than we see. They're just on different parts of the platform, or they're outside the arena. Grievous actually is watching right now, and the whole thing is he observes Obi-Wan and he thinks about how he would be a good opponent. And and actually, one of the Jedi goes into the catacombs and he kills her.
Yeah, I heard Grievous was in the Battle of Geonosis too. Oh, here come the clones. Here comes Yoda to the rescue.
Yeah, which I always love this moment. Which, yeah, I love just the Jedi whooping some ass. Yeah, I'm really glad they brought Eth Koth back. They talked about that actually at the Force cast in their Clone Wars retcons thing, and about how it was a character who got a really shitty death, who deserved better, and they brought him back. Though my only thing is Eth Koth still alive?
Who knows? Maybe they'll appear in Rebels.
That'd actually be cool. Because he was a former council member. It'd actually be pretty decent. Which, yay, Shakti and everyone, and there's that African American guy who I don't recognize.
More African Americans. They're diversifying.
Yeah, but background characters Aegon Kolar's one, Mace Windu's one, a lot of these actors are. Which my only problem is sometimes when we have characters, they don't actually serve a purpose. They're just kind of in the background. It's okay to have characters in the background. What I mean is, I kind of wish that some of these Jedi got actual screen time.
That'd be nice. Oh, but
I seriously don't know that guy's name. One of the surviving Jedi of Geonosis, I don't know his name. I've never seen him before. Yeah, I always wondered why his head didn't flop out of there.
Of course, now here comes my favorite part of the movie, the first battle. which is the part I was
Yeah.
skip directly to, because let's face it, I didn't care
hmm
for the rest of it.
Like, I love this. Like, just the Battle of Geonosis is one of the best conflicts in the Star Wars history, just because how many books have been written just about this battle, and how many games.
I love,
Because it's a really epic fight. Just the birth of the look dwarf spider droids, like
I
all
love
this
just
cool
going
stuff.
around the battle and see all the cool stuff. Oh, so what are your favorite,
hmm
like, games that depict this? I like Republic Commando, the Attack of the Clones video game, and Battlefronts.
That's exactly it for me as well.
Oh, look, it's Death Star.
Like, just I love how many Jedi are involved in this, and
Oh,
like how
yeah.
other.
War Room.
hmm I love the Geonosis Spire game or map on Battlefront One. Like, just I love this battle. How many people were involved in it? How many Jedi we don't see who were there, and like it feels like this massive conflict that brings in, this epic war. And what's great is, and yeah, that's the gunship that Sora Bulk was on apparently. That Koth so quote unquote died on, but I guess because I think he loses an arm, Sora Bulk or something, and that's why he hates them. Uh, or he just he feels abandoned, so then he falls to the dark side. But yeah, I love like we get to see the clones of different armored, and like we get to see the ATTEs. Like there's a lot of cool stuff in this movie, and I get that it's all CG, and people have said it doesn't feel real. I like it. I like it because I don't know, they look pretty good because they're at a distance, and just these giant armies of like the spider droids going up against armies of clones with their Jedi leaders going to this epic battle. Like it's the beginning of something massive and awesome. Like it feels really cool. I almost feel like this should have been more of a focus. Like we should have just had, instead of them chasing after Dooku, we should have had them land and then to starship. You're gonna call that a starship? It's more like a freaking cruiser. Uh, so I really like this thing. Which yeah, these are really cool. Like just I don't know. I love the aesthetic of the prequels.
It's a cool aesthetic. I've always
hmm
that.
I love how they have a platform for Yoda, or yeah, a thing for Yoda there. Which at the ATTEs, we got to see those ATTE droppers, which are really cool. Different color clump. The Hailfire droids, like I really, sorry, anti-Hailfire droids, like I really, oh no, they are Hailfire. Like I really just love this battle because it's so freaking hectic.
I kind of would have liked to see some practical though, like maybe some good close-ups of the clones in trenches.
Yeah, I mean, we never got to see a single practical clone armor in the entire prequel trilogy.
Oh, annoying in such a low voice.
hmm
Here comes the big semi-retcon coming up. Like people kind of either dislike or like, depending on how you see it.
Which doesn't necessarily need to be a retcon.
Right.
Yay, I like this. I actually genuinely like this.
I like how the Death Star has just always been part of Palpatine's plans for like ever.
People have said, like, oh, well, then Palpatine didn't really make it. Like,
He could have still made it.
he did, he commissioned it, though.
He just had other people working on it.
What?
Other people working on it.
Yeah, he commissioned them to make a giant space station with a super laser. They just started to work on the schematics for him.
Question though, why did Palpatine have the clones go after the crystal and Magneto? The Separatists were building the Death Star first.
Because he wanted just because he wanted the Republic to have those assets just in case something went wrong, I think. Which, yeah, I love how we get to see the Episode 3 droids that you get to see a little bit more of.
Oh yeah.
Because they're blue, which is space droids. They're marine droids. Which, yeah, we get to see these, what are they called, like Sunriders or whatever. The,
The Geonosian ships?
yeah, solar rider things.
It's funny how in the Attack of the Clones, they made it look like that, but the entire Separatist fleet was just, they used the battle droid, the Geonosian ships.
Yeah, and I never liked that. I mean, Clone Wars has it be that that's his personal ship, which I actually do like. Which, these are really cool. These get brought back in Clone Wars once. We never see them in anything else with Clone Wars and, a few other things. And, of course, Battlegrounds and stuff like that, which I love this moment right here. But, like, this could have been practical. Like, this thing crashing. You could have done that with models.
Well, I was talking more like getting to the, like, some different angles with the battle, like get some trench warfare going on.
I mean, I think they built the inside of the gunships, at least.
Like this scene. This is a cool scene.
Oh, yeah, this should have... Oh, this is one of my favorite moments. just however. But again, I think this entire thing should have just been the battle. Like we shouldn't have had the side thing about, like we should have had the Dooku thing maybe, but the fight's not good enough.
We want.
It's not worth it in my opinion.
Animatic for the Clone Wars Battle of Geonosis.
What do you mean?
You can watch the animatic of the Battle of Geonosis.
Oh, that, which, yeah, it's more extended. That's really cool. I saw that for Kashyyyk as well.
Christopher Lee.
Can't wait till we do our Lord of the Rings reviews.
Oh, yeah, we'll have a lot.
The commentaries, I mean. Well, I hope we have a lot to say. I don't know with the extended editions. I mean, we're gonna do that because it's a good challenge.
Oh, totally. I can't. I mean, that's the version I have. Oh, but I love the way. I don't know why. It's funny how he just screamed Padme. His voice cracked.
Mm-hmm. But I think he finally hit puberty right there in that scene. And I do like the fact that Obi-Wan actually calms him down.
Yeah.
Like Yoda would have just been like, peace and Jedi-ness. Well, Obi-Wan actually is a person to him.
Again,
Like,
should have calmed him down and kind of like, okay, let's think this through.
Mm-hmm. Especially because Yoda even feels it. He's like, Skywalker is in great pain.
See, I'm not. We were talking about how did you ever feel about CGI Yoda? I mean, I think it works.
I think it works, yeah. Especially because they had the puppet on set. Like I remember I heard just seen like Doug Walker talk about CG, and he was like, well, like with Gollum, what was good was you had an actor there, so like the shadow and everything was real, so you knew it was that size. But with Yoda, you don't. And what's funny is he used a shot of Yoda to prove his point that I actually know for a fact they did the exact same thing that they did with Schmeagol, which makes his point entirely valid with that. Because with Yoda, they had like models and stuff like that there, so his shadow and everything was right, which that looks really bad right there. The lightsaber deflecting the lightning.
Silly. When I was a kid, I used to think Count Dooku was the Emperor just because he did the Force lightning. I kind of feel like kind of like one of those. Oh, he does this. Oh, he's this character.
But what about then the final scene?
I never got past the final scene. It took me a while to finish this film. Let's just say my first time, wasn't really paying attention.
Yeah, there's Padme, whose neck should have been broken in 5 places. I do like the fact that the clone survives. Like, I actually do like that. Which, yeah, that's badly CG'd. He should have been practical. I mean, I think the clones look decent. Like, I love how you can see the mesh and everything and the scars on their armor. Yeah. It's just, yeah, that could have been practical still. Which I like this fight, kinda, but I feel like we should have just had the battle. Which, ooh, Obi-Wan getting cut up is terrifying here, because it's like you get to see somebody actually get stabbed by a lightsaber without it being a killing blow, or an arm getting cut off, which, I mean, here is an arm getting cut off in 5 seconds, but...
In episode 7, spoiler alert.
Oh, wow, he's bleeding. I just realized that. He's actually bleeding into it. His hands are bleeding.
Okay, isn't in the older you, lightsabers don't make you bleed?
If it cultivates the wound, which it doesn't necessarily always do that. Which I like how Anakin cuts that, by the way. I just like the subtlety of that.
Oh, here comes something. I feel like they should have some symbolism to it, because it's in the darkness.
But I do genuinely love this. Just, you don't actually see... I see people criticize it, but I actually like the fact that you don't see their blades flashing, you just see their reactions. They just don't seem into it enough. Like, they're not really reacting to it very much.
Well, I like how Alec, our friend Alec, put it for episode 7.
Which, ooh.
Lightsaber duels are once again people chopping wood. I like how that description. A lightsaber battle to be people chopping wood.
And I like how Dooku's tired after that fight.
He's old.
Mm-hmm.
Here comes Yoda. Hey, I like to imagine Yoda just walked all the way there. Could you imagine Take forever.
Was Dooku state here that he is Dooku's master?
Yes, I think they said it. Yeah. He said it. He says, "Fought well, you have my old Padawan."
Oh yeah. What's always confusing is sometimes he refers to just anyone as his Padawan, like Obi-Wan in the original trilogy, and then sometimes it's like specifically people like Oberyn and
Well,
Sissus.
to be fair, Obi-Wan says Master Yoda trained him. Which is
Yeah.
weird because in episode 1, Qui-Gon did that.
Well, he trained him because he was a mentor to him more than anyone else because his master died.
Well, to be fair,
Yoda trained
yeah,
everyone.
he trained the younglings, so everyone is Padawan at one point. In fact,
It's just weird though because when you think about it, like, are you like whenever Yoda calls somebody his apprentice, it's hard to know, does he mean I taught you at one point or does he mean actual apprentice?
I like how they deal with that in Clone Wars. Like, Keanu said, we were all students of Yoda once.
Oh yeah, I love that. But I really like Keanu Mooney in that arc.
Yeah.
He gets something to do. They cast a really good voice actor throughout Clone Wars for that guy. And I feel like this shouldn't have been Force then lightsabers. It should have been lightsabers then Force.
I don't know. I mean, they both seem pretty powerful with the Force.
Yeah, but that's the point. It's you have it be like, oh, they're not really that power. Like they're good with lightsabers, but then you have them use the Force, and they're amazing.
Oh, I get you. Yoda doing flips.
Which yeah, people have made fun of this fight. And yeah, Christopher Lee, it's hilarious, but I don't hate it. My only problem is some of these things, like what are they doing with their blades?
I still like the episode 3 Sidious Palpatine fight best.
Yeah, because that actually has technique. Not technique, but that actually.
They use the Force.
Okay, there's the line. Yeah, like that's the. It becomes a actual battle, and still like you feel like something's actually happening. Like when they start playing around with those giant things, you actually feel like there's something in danger, or that he's actually lifting something pretty heavy.
I actually like the Palpatine Yoda fight over the Anakin Obi-Wan duel. I mean, that's because that's my favorite character fighting, so.
Those Imperial guards who get taken out in 5 seconds. Your favorite character? Which I do love that moment when he just bashes their heads against the wall. Which, how did Yoda get there?
Oh, yeah.
He wasn't.
Ship.
Which again, that outfit is just really bad in that scene. I'm sorry, I just don't. Which that droid actually is brought back in Clone Wars
And the chip, too.
because he gets destroyed. It's the first time we get to see Hondo.
Where were these ships earlier?
He only has.
No,
These?
The donut ships.
They lifted off because remember they were donuts, but in the middle part those were what were lifting off. So those things were just in orbit, or probably on like a moon or something, and then the donut or the middle part connected to them, which I do like the fact that we find out what those middle parts are. Which, yay, Coruscant. And I love the fact that Coruscant's a lot dimmer lighting-wise. Like, you get to see it at nighttime.
Scene that made me like this movie a bit more now. Because I think that's another reason I like episode 1 over episode 2. They're just more Sidious involved.
Which, how much time did it take for Dooku to arrive?
I don't know. They must have a very fast hyperdrive.
Yeah, but it has to still be like a week or something.
True. You get to see the inside of that ship in Bounty Hunter. Oh, here comes the works. That's in Labyrinth of Evil too. In Labyrinth of Evil.
Oh yeah, I love the works.
And you know how in the final arc of episode of Clone Wars they get to go inside the works' lair? In Palpatine's lair? They do that in Labyrinth of Evil too. Mace Windu and a bunch of Jedi go inside. They don't do the Sidious thing though.
They just find out that Dooku's been there.
No, that they find out this is, they suspect it's Sidious's lair. You gotta read Labyrinth of Evil.
Yeah, I really do.
It's like they reveal that like Luke Gunray loses his like hologram chair, and like he accidentally spills the beans about that Sidious is a person. But you know how in episode
How does he not know that war has begun? Republic ships have probably already arrived.
that's a good point. I don't know.
Well, actually, no, because Geonosis is really far away. Which I like this scene a lot. This is a great final scene. Taking a offhanded mentioning episode 4 and making it into the awesomest thing ever.
Well, this TV show even.
Why is Justine creating mistrust? Yeah, that should have been the entire movie. A closer eye in the Senate. Like, lies and deceit are a problem. Let's lie and be deceitful.
And of course, this gave birth to an awesome 3D TV series, and 7 books, and comics.
Yeah, the Duty Show.
And a 2D show.
And comics.
I think.
And video games. And video games based on all those things. So it became a pretty epic thing. And yeah, I love this whole, like the Shroud of Darkness has fallen, but we didn't get to see this begun the Clone War has. I love that moment. Like we should have seen the Veil of Darkness before it falls, or the Shroud of Darkness, whatever it is. Which yeah, this dun 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 dun. dun. Oh yeah, sorry, yeah. I love that. Just the fact that this is where the stormtroopers come from, and you get to see the proto walkers and the proto Star Destroyers and everything. There's Bail Organa and that Ganka and Masamada. Like I really love this ending. Just everyone sitting there watching this army.
It kind of makes it though. Bail Organa is part of the entourage. Well, he is part of the entourage.
Yeah. What I never liked was the fact that all our good guys who were part of the rebellion opposed the army. Because I don't feel like Bail Organa is the kind of guy who would just oppose that. I feel like Bail's the kind of guy who would want a fight against the Separatists. Like he says, let's not construct an army until they attack first. That doesn't seem like Bail Organa. Bail's the kind of guy who would build an army and then wait for them to strike. Like, he wouldn't attack until they've been struck, but he would want an army beforehand.
Here comes the wedding.
Yeah. Which Typho was here for this, apparently.
That he's nowhere to be seen.
He's just in the... Well, he's probably watching with a sniper rifle angrily. Like, poor Typho. Which we never even hint at once in this movie. Like that, I only know that from the visual guide.
So you really gotta read Labyrinth of Evil. I mean, I read Labyrinth of Evil. It's really cool. They kind of do...
Apparently Grievous fights Mace on a like, hyper... not a hyper, like a, those lift... like that, thing that you get in, on Ryloth.
The only thing about Labyrinth of Evil, though, is it kind of retcons Part 2 of Clone Wars. The 2D show. Because it pretty much takes place right before Episode 3, but it does go into the Kay and Nemoria incident.
And I hate that ending.
Oh, right. Oh, directed by George Lucas. Wait a minute, they were just directed by... Jonathan Hales was screenplay. Huh. I didn't know that. Did you?
No.
So George wrote this with somebody else. Who'd been casted?
Yeah, I don't like that final shot at all. It should have been the Begun the Clone Wars have. Da 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 da. Cut.
Yeah.
Not some stupid... Yeah, because we really give a shit about Anakin and Padme, that's for sure.
So, final thoughts? It seems that you did not have the same experience with this movie like you did in Episode 1.
Episode 1 I liked, but I now consider Episode 1 to be... I still consider that to be a decent movie. This... I didn't hate it as much as...
I don't think I hate Episode 2, I just really dislike it a lot.
It's so, like, it wasn't as vile, but maybe that's just because I wasn't listening to Hayden Christensen talk.
Maybe. It did go pretty fast for me, I feel. Like, last time I...
Well, we were talking the whole time, to be fair.
But, I don't know, even when I was listening to the commentary of Captain and Dan, I felt even that even went on longer. And I wasn't even watching the movie at the time. Which is weird. So, yeah, you don't like this movie.
It's... I don't know, it's got so many problems, but a lot of them are more the same problems that Episode 1 has. Like, not the same problems, but the problems all have the same theme that Episode 1's problems have, which is that they're good ideas just executed poorly, or certain ideas that don't need to exist at all.
Episode 1 has a little bit more joy to it, and obviously less just better paced. Like, you feel like things are moving.
Yeah.
When you get to chapter
And it feels more like a cohesive story. This feels like almost just a few scenes scattered throughout.
like a first act.
Well, it feels like 5 different like movies shoved together. Like each planet almost feels like a different movie, except for the Obi-Wan stuff.
Right. Well, I wouldn't say different.
And the characters are too everything's a little disjointed. Like there's parts that could have worked. It's almost like it's kind of like the opposite. Like with episode 1, I said, in my opinion, the sums or the sum justifies the parts. With this movie, the parts are good. The sum doesn't work.
It's episode 1 better edited.
Well, better plotted, better. Just it flows better as a story. I think it's not as disconnected. There's not as much tonal shift.
There's a story. Naboo's invaded. We gotta save the queen. We get stuck on a plan.
Mm-hmm.
We head to Coruscant. Then we have to go back.
Yeah.
Save the day. And while those aren't always executed properly, there's a flow. Here it's like there's some bad guy and some plot, but we don't really get into it that much. Our villain isn't. We don't really even have a villain. I mean, we have a villain, but he's not like looming. Like that's the big
Yeah, he's just kind of.
Darth Maul and Darth Sidious in episode 1. We see them at the beginning. We see Darth Maul in the middle, and we see Darth Maul at the end.
Yeah, plus that has the added bonus of being the first time we have the name Sith mentioned in a Star Wars live action thing.
So yeah, that's my final thoughts about this film. It's boring.
Mm-hmm. Except for the Kamino stuff.
And the Geno stuff.
Yeah, like the Obi-Wan. The thing is, this has a good plot. The problem is we shove in some random additional plot.
Yeah.
Like we shove 2 movies together that one of which doesn't need to exist.
Exactly. Although, well, at least when we do the commentary for the next movie, we'll probably have a lot more fun.
Mhm.
Love episode 3.
Yeah, it's a genuine, in my opinion, it's a good movie.
Yeah, I'd say that. Well, there's still some acting issues with it.
Yeah, but overall, I mean, how many movies have you seen that have perfect casts?
That's true.
Lord of the Rings, I think Lord of the Rings might be the only, like, perfectly cast, the Nolan Batman films, except for, arguably, Katie Holmes, but we'll debate about that, I guess, when we get to Begins or something.
But yeah, episode 3, I really like episode 3, but we'll get there when we get there. I'm going ahead of myself. Yeah, do they do Darth Vader breath in this one too?
No, that was just for episode 1.
But yeah, this movie, I feel this movie probably, if you had to keep it this way, would have worked better if this was episode 1, and then episode 2 would be a movie set in the middle of the war, and episode 3 be the big ending.
Yeah.
Instead of having to read all those comics and books, which are fun, by the way. You should read those comics and books and TV series.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, it's not like episode 7 where you require them to know what's going on, but the problem is a lot of these ideas just don't work without them.
Yeah.
Nah, to be fair, you don't know what the Separatists are either, but at least you know what the Republic is. Like, again, I feel like this film actually really does benefit from episode 1. In a way that almost episode 7 maybe did need a film beforehand. That maybe wouldn't, like episode 1, wouldn't feel like part of a trilogy, but like maybe it wouldn't even be part of a trilogy. But just would be a setup thing.
Well, they are doing anthology films soon, so who knows?
But we should have got that beforehand to introduce us to the world. But yeah, so that's our thoughts on episode 2, Attack of the Clones.
What do you think of it? Leave it in the comments. And if a friend of ours is watching, you can leave it in the comments.
Or if you're watching this when it gets uploaded, talk to us on Sunday.
Meet us in the crisis chat.
And yeah, so marketing, geek pollution. So